At this, on the minutes,
Mhm.
this, we voted on 1 through 11,
Yeah.
and then you've got 12 through 24. But we didn't do 21, the budget numbers. So we did 12 through 20, and then 22 through 24. Because we were gonna do the numbers tonight. Right?
Well, we didn't approve 17, that's gonna be too given. And,
Yeah. Because the,
one,
That was very confusing, because you guys were going
it was
back and forth.
confusing. No, I was there, and it was confusing.
Confusing, so,
okay.
24.
Because
yeah.
I went through it today to make sure
because then you
I
said
had
no
written down.
recommendations of 25, because that was Mary Jane.
Right, yep, that's
And
right.
so,
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's okay.
Yeah,
Then we go 12.
that's good.
That was favorable.
13 was
Yeah,
favorable.
yeah, with the change, and the change has been
Right,
made.
yep, the
yeah,
handguns or whatever.
I
Yeah.
have that in
Yeah.
this
And
one.
favorable.
14 and 15 were favorable. And 16 was favorable. 17 we left to be given till we got more info.
Yeah,
So that's one you've got to,
and 18, 19, 20, 21,
Okay,
that's all good.
this
Okay.
is what I have from last Thursday, but I had not made a copy because it hasn't been proofed. You want to take a quick look?
that was from,
The budget hearing last Thursday at the senior center, when you guys were.
okay.
Well,
Well,
let's
what are
finish
these
with this
minutes?
first.
We've got to do these minutes.
Yeah. So, are you making the amendments, so we can just make a motion
For May
as amended?
23rd.
Yes. All right, so,
May 23rd, didn't we
We
just,
didn't.
May
vote.
23rd, we just went to 11 and stopped, I think,
Yes,
on the first,
on the
for the
23rd.
23rd, Sandy.
Yeah,
Okay,
we
I
did
have
those, I
that.
think, for the first. But then you've got,
and then you had no recommendation.
but then
The
you've got
motion
12
B,
through 24.
And that's
No.
when I got confused Thursday night, because we went to the book and like, I thought we talked
I don't think
about
we
it.
even.
No, we
even
didn't go to
talked about
those.
that.
All right,
So you've got to take that out.
12 to 24. the whole thing.
Just take that whole.
Yes,
right out.
yes, take that out.
All right.
And we didn't go through any of this other was done,
No, you were reading these, that you were reading to move money.
That was one of the last things.
That
we
was at
had.
the very end of the meeting.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
did that.
we had to move money, right.
Yep.
You had to move some money. And we have some more tonight, too.
okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
that
that's
one,
not,
that's
I
gonna
was
work.
thinking that was the warrant.
That's the
No,
only
no,
thing.
no, this is
Okay.
moving money from accounts.
Yeah, I think that's the only thing, we just take
Yeah.
out that.
Yep. Yep, that'll do
All
that.
right, so,
Okay, so I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of May 23rd, except for,
As amended.
as a.
or as
Yeah,
amended.
As
No,
amended,
as amended.
because she's amending those. Yeah.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm gonna abstain.
You didn't have to, you weren't here that day,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're off the hook.
Okay, so this goes.
okay. Now, you don't have the other minutes left yet,
That's
done
all
from
right.
Thursday, you said.
They're right here. But I didn't make copies for everybody because it
Right.
hasn't been really proofed yet. What I like to do is when I do the minutes, I like to have Andrew look at it,
Yeah.
make sure I didn't miss
Yep.
anything.
Good idea.
And he didn't have a chance to do that.
Well,
Yeah.
But I
This is
brought it
great.
with me anyways in case anybody wanted to.
I think it'd be good, but I don't
That's
think
why
we
I don't
should.
have it
No,
on there as
no,
as-
let Andrew look at it first,
Yeah.
but
I don't have it on there as to
What
be
I'm-
approved.
thinking of is that we all agree, the only thing we've got to do tonight is the monies,
The
the
budget?
Yeah.
21,
Yeah.
and we've got to do 17. I think that's the only, unless you found another one,
Yeah, no, I think that's.
because I
good.
wrote it in.
Well, also, we were gonna talk about the marijuana stuff.
Yeah, Yeah, 'cause-
Try to learn a little bit more.
yes, and, because Joshua had wanted, I verified with him again, I talked to him. And he
Why don't
said,
we
if you
cover,
can't come up, yeah, you know,
Why don't we cover 17? Then we
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
Get that straightened out once and for
because I
all.
really don't know, I've read the
For this year.
marijuana stuff. and I don't
still
know
don't
which
know.
one, I don't know
I can
which one
dissect
to
it.
vote.
He's gonna.
I am the man for that job. Nobody knows it. Maybe
Yeah,
Andrew
what's
knows
the
it as
difference
intimately as I
between
do,
these?
but,
I tried sitting
Question.
with them, trying to compare.
yeah.
What's it, the marijuana stuff?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh,
I couldn't
That's
compare.
up to you people.
Okay, let me see. I've had conversations with Margot, back and forth, texting. I went back to, she had given, did she give it to me, or did she give it to all of us? Have you seen this? I can't remember if she gave that to me afterwards. Did you
Regarding
see it
what?
all?
I don't know what my memory,
No.
I don't think I've
You
seen
haven't seen
it.
that?
Mm. But you,
You want to look at it?
Yeah,
Why don't you
please.
come up here?
Oh, thank you.
That's what she had given me at
I'm out of my
first.
bailiwick now, if we were talking about schools, I'd probably be better off.
well,
But that's what she had given me. And
That was
And-
at the first meeting that they had with everybody. You all have a copy
oh,
of that?
oh, at the first meeting?
Yes, and it's
Okay.
attached to the meeting minutes.
That's filed in my other.
Yeah, it's,
Oh, Jim's here too. Hi, Jim.
hi, how are you?
Hi, buddy. Your husband still out in the far west?
Yes, I'm here as a
We're reviewing
Proxy?
17.
Proxy.
Is that Felton
the
Field
Felton
one?
Field,
Yes.
yeah. For our big, what, I had asked what they spent the money for last year,
Mm-hmm.
and they haven't spent all that money.
Mm-hmm.
Which, then I went back to this.
Well, they have some bills that I know are coming in from contractors who have completed some work there within the last couple weeks. They're working to try to get, I forget what the place is called, you know, they used to crush up, the old Curtis place. I'm dating myself now, but Mark, you're talking to me.
Yeah.
The old Curtis place, they're trying to get them to donate some, you know, drainage kind of fill for
Oh,
up
yeah.
before the
Yeah.
The fencing goes in, so they're sort of held up waiting for that. Because if they can get it donated, and Richie McDonald has been very helpful with them, trying to get, you know, that group to make a donation. So hopefully they'll be able to do that. So they have, I'm guessing that they will have a thing to come to the warrant for you before the 30th of the month.
Yeah, because she said, the 15,000 we received last year has yet to be spent. Horizon Fence is installing the fence next week,
Yeah.
and we will be using the 15,000 for that.
Well, they're gonna be using for that, and, well, see, when they took the trees out, the amount of root work that was in there, obviously it had to be taken out with more heavy equipment than, you know, couldn't put the fence in with that, so, and everybody, of course, says, oh, we'll be there next week, we'll be there Monday.
Oh, yeah.
Heard that.
So they're
Middle of the
waiting
week.
for the fence guy to show up, so. So that should be, you know, hopefully, that will be, you will have some invoices for that, so that will be gone.
So that 15,000 is going to be for the fence.
Well, fencing and this, and the work, and the, you know, the stuff. the ripping up
See, the
roots.
thing we need to see going forward, like they want to get onto a budget, is we need to see where the money is going before we say, okay, you can have
I
it.
couldn't agree with you more, and as I had conversations with them, and I said, what you really need to do is to have a subcommittee made up of people, for example, from the community, and put together a 5 to 7 year plan,
Right.
which
Yeah.
demonstrates to, you know, who you're gonna be cooperating with, and they're gonna be cooperating with the Quabbin Regional School District, who has currently maintained tennis, basketball courts, and are
Yeah,
ready to
that's
do
what
a
they
new
had said.
thing on to that. The 4-H group, and Jim is here tonight, and there's work between that group now. The Barre Riding and Driving Club, there's going to be work that they're going to continue to do on the ring and the secretary's booth and so forth. So they're trying to put together a cadre of folks that are going to continue to contribute along with the community, the town. So I certainly, and as representing them, and they've given me free license to do that, would indicate that there will be at least a 5 to 7 year plan. And they're having, for example, some local contractors look at the roof. Can it be repaired over a short period of time, or, is there significant, do we have to lift the whole thing and do the entire thing? And that's huge money, and that would have to be
Right.
something that is planned for over time.
Well, to let you know about that, I had asked them when they were in if they'd spoken to Ann Goby, and they said no, just hadn't thought of it.
Yeah.
So I sent her an email, and she wrote back to me and said, she wanted some ideas. So I told her that they wanted the roof needed fixing or maybe replacing or something like that. She said, well, the budget year is done for this
Right.
year, but she said, I can probably get them some money in a grant
Yeah.
to do
Well,
something.
I mean,
But she needs quotes,
Yeah, well, I mean,
estimates of
What
what.
she needs is, for a grant, you need a whole lot more than
Yeah,
quotes. We
yeah,
have to
well,
write
she-
the grant, and that's not a problem. I'm certainly, I
Yeah.
get the grant.
Yeah.
And,
She was gonna contact Andrew,
yeah,
and
well, I can,
I could
actually-
tell her to contact
Well, no,
you.
I'll be happy, I see Ian all the time.
Oh,
So,
okay, because she said she would be willing to work
Work
with
with us.
work
Good.
with us, with the town.
And what we've tried to do as well is whether, from a regional kind of capacity to say, working with, whether it be 4-H, whether it be Quabbin, whether it be Little League, the youth soccer program that's kind of restoring the soccer field that they had put, which is
Yeah.
just beyond the Little League field, and they've kind of brought that back into some use now. And so there really has to be a coordinated effort with the town obviously helping, but these other organizations that would like to use the field, adding to it and trying to spruce it up. There has been really no effort, from the town's perspective to really put any money into it. That has really been on a wing and a prayer and based upon what little money they had when the bandstand was burned.
Mhm.
They got maybe $10,000 or $12,000
Yeah.
from insurance. And then most of the Barre Riding and Driving Club and the Barre Fair Commission for a while, when they had the Barre Fair,
Mhm.
that was somewhat operational, Barre Little League. And then Quabbin came in and took the tennis courts and resurfaced them because they used those
Mhm.
and so forth. I think Earl and the Barre sort of Highway Department built the bathrooms
Mhm.
and so forth, but that's now many years ago, and so there's a little upgrade we need there. So, and then the regional 4-H people did a ton of work, and Jim can speak probably more specifically than I can on the big white building. And then the other group that uses it, well, not what we'll talk about marijuana, but the thing
Yeah.
that goes on Columbus Day weekend,
Fair.
okay. And they actually painted the outside of the building, for no cost to the Felton Field Commission. I will tell you that Maureen and Larry Marshall bought and owned the big tractor that's down there that cuts the lawn, with my husband on that, does all the weed whacking and so forth. So there's been a lot of people who've kind of helped keep it going.
Mhm.
And now that we have the regional 4-H, participation and, when we have more horse events than usual over there, we have a lot of trail rides that go out of there, as well as about 5 different horse shows, and with Western and also English riders, and so that's been quite helpful. I would say that I think that the Felton Field Commission, at least to some of the, they had that big Jeep thing there this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they rent it way too cheap, I think.
Yeah.
Well,
We
I
did three or
agree.
things.
this
Keep
was
it
one
up.
thing
you know.
I said to them, Maureen, you need to, and that's why I was gonna go to one of their meetings.
Mhm.
They need to up their rates.
We agree. And so at any rate, there's no question that it really is a recreational facility in our community that has varied uses.
Yep.
And it's the only thing around that could possibly have the varied uses that it has. And so to let it go to rack and ruin would probably not be the best thing to do. And for a small investment, and then, and I certainly will tell you that I'll write the grant.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah.
have a little more free.
She did say she'd
Yeah,
work
and
with us.
I'll talk with Ann, because I do spend a lot of time, because I do work at the state level on schools now. So instead of fighting with you for school money, I fight at the state level for you to get more money for schools, so.
It's got a longer drive before you
It's a
fight.
it's a longer drive, I take the train, and I can understand why the governor definitely has his own problems with public transportation. But, so, I'm just wondering, what's the plan for the Tuesday night, as far as, what are you guys recommending? Is it the fifth?
Well, we kind of wanted to know, what are they, specifics, what are they using it?
Well,
It's like, well, we're gonna use it for everything,
Well, obviously, what they're gonna do is they're gonna finish the fence project because of the additional groundwork that has to be done all around that, because it's hopeful that they're going to, the fences now is gonna be further off the road, the trees and so forth that they'll be planting, obviously, they have to spend money for the trees, the arborvitaes that will go all along the fence, and that's a considerable expense, but for the, the neighbors were pretty irritated, I guess, when the trees went away, and so now there'll be a fence, and it'll be in the kind of fencing that would be appropriate to tie animals to if necessary, but, some sort of a railed fence. And then there'll be arborvitaes all along that, so to give the privacy, to the, and then there'll be parking that can go in along, because we don't have a lot of good parking. Also, efforts will be made to, we'll talk to the town as much as we can, but they need to get a grader up there and grade that road, but we're probably gonna have to buy, some gravel, hopeful maybe to get some volunteers.
I was in there the other night, and
needs-
it's really bad.
Yeah,
It's gotten real,
well, because,
this
so,
year, too,
so-
with the rain.
and then obviously, whatever money is left available, they're gonna work on the roof, patching, and getting, it is, buttoned up as possible. Considering the lack of repair on that building for all these years, it's amazing.
Amazing.
It's amazingly in good shape, not good shape, but better shape. I would tell you also that the bathrooms are, I always say subpar. Am I kind? Okay, I'm kind. There need to be new stalls put in there, and so on and so forth, and so,
When were they done, Maureen?
oh gosh, it's gotta be almost 15, 20 years ago now.
They're like primitive campground stalls.
They're
They're-
primitive is kind, and that's a real euphemism. I mean, the places were
One
fun.
of the things we found out, that a lot of their accounting is done by the town thing. So my feeling would be, I'd like to see them kind of do budgets like a normal town department, Maureen.
They've never even asked for money. I think last year, they barely ever. So,
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think the 5 to 7 year plan is absolutely essential. I will
Right.
tell you that Felton Field has been sort of on a wing and a prayer and run by people who have been interested in what happens at the field. So you see the horse people. My husband
Yeah.
won.
Yeah,
Margot, horse people. And there always used to be somebody from the Barre Fair types.
yeah.
Okay, now it's anybody they can get to run, because there's not a lot of people who have a lot of interest in it. But that level of interest is growing, thankfully, because there's more and more events happening at the field.
Well, the field, my granddaughter Sarah, her husband takes care of the
Well,
Little League
Well,
field.
you know what I'm saying, you know?
He was elected to the volunteer position
Yeah.
this year.
When he didn't show up at the meeting?
No, he was there, and they said, "You did such a good
Job
job."
last year. So I mean, and the thing of it is, I think people will continue to do those kinds of things as their children, participate in the
Yeah,
sport or
yeah.
the horse show, and
Yeah.
then their children grow up, and so somebody else gets
Yeah,
volunteered.
has to take in.
But keep trying to, provide the community with a better facility will take all of our efforts. But in addition to that, it takes our level of responsibility to say that we will put together a budget. and so on and so forth. And you can basically see that, I said to them, you can't, the two of you can't do this. You really need to get a
Right.
subcommittee,
Yep.
Yeah,
you know, somebody
Yeah.
who maybe is interested in this, and get a contractor who can buy, you know, say, come to some meetings and
Prices,
say,
yeah.
okay, this is what you need, this is what, you know, give us some diagrams and drawings. And I'm gonna talk with Phil Stevens about taking some pictures, aerial pictures, because then I think you can kind of see, you know, what can we do with it and how can we
Yeah.
utilize every
now,
acre in
do
the
you
best
remember
possible
the
way.
big fireplace that was down there, and the picnic tables, on the right-hand side?
Probably not.
No,
I don't remember that, but I do
Because
remember
there
the
was a
grandstand
big
as a
stone
little kid. That was quite a
fireplace.
thrill,
30
wasn't
years
it?
it was.
Yeah.
Right?
yeah, let's see.
25 years ago? I think I was playing Little League there when that
No,
fire pit was
well,
in
the
there.
boys used to go down there, because
Over
they
by
used
the
to hang
4-H
out down
place.
there, by
Well,
the fire.
I have to say, it probably was
And they're
during my,
57, so it was when they were in their teens.
Yeah. So, anyway, I,
But it was nice,
Yeah.
and families would have picnics there.
well, if you, I know this is gonna be hard to believe, but we have people, I've got, we like, it's, you know, like you used to talk about the schools, but, we have people who rent the pavilion, which I mean, let's face it, okay,
Yeah,
for weddings.
Mhm.
For weddings?
You see, even he's shocked. I told you, yeah.
Hmm.
And we go, really? I mean, but we have birthday parties down there, but again, and the thing of it is, the rental is way too cheap for agents. Some of these agencies that are, you know, donating and doing other things, that's different than somebody who's
Yeah.
coming in to do the
Yeah.
Jeep show.
Mhm.
Right.
I mean, because the
Yeah.
Jeep show people are coming back again. And of course, they did have some issues of concern in the bathrooms. I don't blame them. My husband thinks I'm overreacting about it, but they're dumb. And I said, those are the kinds of things that really turn people off.
Yeah.
And so at any rate, I.
well, I mentioned to them when they were in that maybe have different rates for town
Exactly.
people.
Oh, exactly. Or for the Little
Because you're
League,
paying,
because-
you're paying for that in your
Exactly.
taxes, and
Exactly.
so have a cheaper rate for
Yeah.
them.
But I mean, if you wanna come in and do the whole Jeep thing, I mean, there, you know,
Yeah.
certainly, or if they're gonna have the car show up
Yeah, the
there,
car show,
you know.
just that.
But I mean, if we could make it better so that, like you say, driving in there is, you know, it's, and
Yeah.
the town grader could really help us with that.
Yeah.
And I think Jay Pimentel will, he's been
I think
very,
they-
very
I think they will.
easily approachable and helpful, and I don't have, you know, any
Hmm.
complaints relative to that. But it looks like I'm gonna be a fellow field commissioner, doesn't it?
Looks like it, yeah.
Who's the third one?
Young Stymist? I think-
Which statement?
I don't know his first name.
I think it's
David?
Joe. Is it Dave?
I think it's David.
Oh, see, he must have
I'm
been
not,
a
I'm not
little,
really,
little.
I'm not really
I thought-
commissioner, I
I
just
thought
listened to
someone new
it.
got elected this year.
I think, was it Larry or Margot who was up? I don't
I
think
don't
it
know,
was a
maybe
new
you're right.
person,
You're right.
you know. So I certainly will take, you know, the initiative to talk to Ann.
Yeah, that would be
about
good,
a
because
grant.
that's what I was
'Cause, mean,
thinking.
she might be thinking that we can get into the supplemental budget, because there's
Yeah.
gonna be some change in that budget.
Yeah, you know, she may have her
Yeah.
own ideas on
Well,
things.
and.
And why not go to the
Yeah.
state for money?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Well, I keep bringing up, and I know it's like, you know, a stuck record. You got your anniversary coming up. and
Yeah.
Looking at the date right behind you, June 1774. If you had, was it 250 years to that?
Yeah,
It's gonna be 2024.
24. Yeah, they were
And-
talking,
and
selectmen
I
had
keep
mentioned it.
envisioning Felton Field as
That's only
being
5 years.
a
Yeah.
really
Right.
It could be.
fantastic
Oh,
location.
could be.
For part of, or maybe a majority of the anniversary celebration.
Yeah.
That could be brought
Absolutely.
into the
Well,
grant, because I
and
just,
you know where else we could put some, I'm hoping that maybe we could pursue the Barre Savings Fidelity Foundation too, and see if they would be amenable. I think that there was an effort to, I forget what it was, that they wanted to say, no, we want you to fix the roof. And we said, you know how much it costs to fix, I mean, to put a new roof on there, we're talking.
yeah, oh, yeah,
That's huge money. I don't see them giving us, you know, that.
yeah.
But But I think the Barre Savings Fidelity, if we have a plan
Yeah,
and can approach people, but I love your idea about 5 years from now.
That makes sense to
That's a
start-
great goal, isn't it?
To start, yeah,
That's a great
start
goal.
talking about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, not only that, say, what do we want to have done in by 5 years?
Right.
And then back it off and
Yeah.
say, what do we have to do year 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 to get that done?
Just to tie in with that, someone mentioned for the anniversary having the band, Quabbin.
Mhm.
You don't get Quabbin's
We
band.
don't, we don't march, but we're good on standing still.
Yeah, well, to get one of the marching bands, those are booked years in advance. They don't
Yeah.
they don't just call up in June and say, can you be here in July?
Well, you're talking about dual team kind of stuff.
Well, something that's, you know,
Yeah, it's exciting.
yeah.
But of course, we don't
UMass.
have stands, and although you can rent bleachers, we rent bleachers for graduation and so forth, so you can rent bleachers very easily and bring them in, it's not hard. But we've got to get better footing.
Be flat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we gotta
yeah,
get
your,
kind of flat.
your bleachers over by where they had the tractor poles, isn't?
Well, we understand, yeah, well, yeah, dangerous is probably like it. But I know Quabbin is looking to resurface its own track, and they have been looking to do the tennis courts, because obviously when they, to bring, to come in, because they're the ones who primarily use the tennis courts, and they buy the nets and stuff, because the kids use those, but, and that's worked out well for us, because Quabbin doesn't have tennis courts, so
Yeah.
using them at the field. And a lot of communities, there's not a lot of community tennis players anymore. Used to be tons of them, now not so
Mm.
much.
Yeah. Does anyone else have any questions or thoughts?
No, I'm in favor of some more,
Yeah.
areas where, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
town
we
can-
do
That's what I'd
need
like
it.
to see too.
we
I
have-
mean, if they can get up at the town meeting and say, here's our plan for this year.
Okay. And
But
they'll-
they
they'll
need
be
to-
back Monday. So-
They need to have specifics.
Okay, so
Yeah.
tell
And
me,
a plan.
how much money do you have in a line item?
They got 15,000.
We've got 15 right
Okay.
now,
Okay, you think you're gonna put more in there?
no.
I
I was thinking we might have to do less,
It
but the
depends.
school
Come
came
on.
down
It
some,
depends, if the
so,
school can come down.
you
a
know,
couple
the
hundred.
school comes down, we
Then
can
we,
do
Well,
something.
Listen, the thing of it is that they're putting together a new school formula,
Yeah.
as you know, and so.
oh, how's that come?
Well, I would tell you
After
that.
5 years.
After more than that,
Yeah.
right? But this summer is supposed to be the drop dead time frame, and I am now the executive director of the Mass Association of Regional Schools. So I have a seat at the table, talking about what that is going to look like. And many of the regional schools are for your poorest towns, because the small towns are the ones that got
Oh,
together
right,
yeah.
to try to,
And the
provide
Berkshires,
better
everything
education.
else, sure.
And the Berkshires make us look like we're a
Yeah.
metropolis, I tell you. It's really something how much the decline in student enrollment has really impacted them. So at any rate, we're working very hard. We work with the Rural Schools Coalition, and we've got rural aid. You probably heard the superintendent and you were
Yeah.
talking about it. And if in conference committee we're lucky, that amount of aid has been doubled. And it's a recurring aid, and Quabbin will be, one of the schools that would be benefiting from that. So we know that. We're also, at the table talking about, certainly regional schools aren't Chelsea, they're not New Bedford, they're not Lowell, they're not Lawrence, and
Yeah.
that's where they want to put all the
Sure,
money.
sure.
Yeah.
And I say to them, poverty just looks better where we live.
Yeah,
Our kids
true.
are poor.
There's
We
more
have-
trees where our
Yeah,
poverty
we
is.
have nearly 50% of our kids are on free and reduced lunch.
Yeah,
There you
yeah.
go.
50%. That, if you told me 15 years ago that I would be able to say, we were always 5%, 7%. The whole complexion of South Barre is very different than it was a generation ago.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Very different. And the same situation in Gilbertville that has existed for, that's the town with the tale of two cities,
Mm,
Hardwick
mm.
Yeah.
and Gilbertville.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right.
And the impact on children who live in dysfunctional families with a lot of poverty, trust me, it's more expensive to educate them, whether they're in the city or whether they're in the town of Barre or Hardwick or out in the Berkshires or let's face it, over at Quabog or North Brookfield, all of these central Mass towns. One thing we have seen is a real surge in what's happening in Worcester and some of their redevelopment areas. Lots of new things happening in Worcester, expansion of biotechnology jobs, et cetera. And so the hope that Barre has is the land is still cheap enough where people can't afford, I know this sounds ridiculous, but it's almost, they can't afford to live anywhere near,
Oh, for sure.
the area of, Shrewsbury, Northborough, Sullivan, forget it,
That's
right?
already on.
So coming out here and traveling, to the biotech areas are probably our best opportunities.
Yeah.
And they have many new restaurants, they need service workers and so forth, so that you may see the populations in our town. I mean, I see Jimmy Crusoe building a lot of houses.
Yeah.
I would suspect when you do your calculation, you must have some new growth for the first time in a long time.
A little bit, not a lot.
Not
Well, I know,
much.
but you must have been
Some,
zero.
some.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen
Well,
it in a long time.
the photovoltaics were a lot, they added a lot over the past
Yeah.
years,
Yeah,
the fields,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
But
But-
houses weren't,
No.
no, they weren't being put up.
well, and many of the houses that are being sold are sold with children in them. We've got, more bus stops and more kids. We are adding kindergarten teachers in the district for the first time. We're not decreasing our teachers' numbers, we're increasing our teacher numbers, especially in the elementary and preschool areas. Remember, once 2008 hit and the economy really fell down, you saw young families going, "Ooh, we're not gonna have children right now," and you also have women reproducing much later. And that has given us this kind of dearth in new births. In the United States, the last 2 years have been the lowest birth rates in its history. Not a good thing, not a good thing. We do need people to support all of those people who have retired as the baby boomers.
Yeah, to keep
So-
the economy going, you
Well,
gotta,
yeah,
you
well,
gotta work this.
we have 50,000 jobs in Massachusetts, so we don't have people to fill.
They say
Primarily because all
Education.
Massachusetts does is make smart people. We don't have a lot of industry. You have just smart people stuff. That's all we got. And so like they say, those colleges and universities and so forth, we've got to keep them in Boston, we've got to keep them in Worcester, we've got to, because those are the people who could take those jobs. Of course, that's a very different situation than you have in the Rust Belt. But
Good.
anyway, yappity yap, and Maureen could go on and on.
Well, thanks for coming in, Maureen.
Okay, so shall I tell them they need some specifics if there are questions from the floor?
Yes.
Otherwise,
Tell them there will be questions from the floor, they need specifics.
Okay,
Yeah.
so, should they give plan to give a presentation and not ask, and see what the questions are?
I'd like to see,
Okay.
let them take,
Yeah.
not offensive,
Let them
but
take
let them,
the,
they say, here's what we'd
the
like to
floor
do.
and
Hopefully it'll answer most of the questions.
speak to the people.
Maureen,
Okay.
I know Andrew's gonna have a PowerPoint set up at the meeting, at least I've been told he is. I don't know if they could put together a
Okay.
PowerPoint presentation.
Your comment about some pictures
Yeah,
might be good to show,
oh, yeah,
like old and what's done already,
yeah,
and be nice.
And what we have in the town.
yeah,
Because I knew Felton Field was there, and I've lived here all my life,
right,
but never really knew if the town owned the land.
okay.
That history never came out.
Oh, yeah,
It never came out to
Okay.
me until I started reading all of this, and I said, yeah, it
It's a
is.
strange thing, because it was the Western Worcester Agricultural
Yeah,
Association.
when I
and
looked
then
back.
They went defunct, and whatever his name was, that.
Felton.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was for his sister.
For his sister, yeah. And they're supposed to have a board that includes school people and townspeople and so forth.
Yeah,
Yeah, years and years ago.
yeah, that's how they did.
Yeah. So if he does have do you know if he's gonna have a PowerPoint?
I don't.
Sandy, can you just give me a buzzo and let me know? 978-302-4070?
So the rumor may not be.
Time.
Could you speak to us, Jim, on what the 4-H is hoping now that they've come in, move their fair?
As you may know, the Worcester County 4-H Fair had been held, I think it's 68 years or something like that, at Camp Marshall.
Mhm.
No relation.
No relation.
In Spencer. And various things happened over the years over there that made it that a move was thought to be the best thing, and they, through a very emotional decision-making process, decided after they approached the Felton Field Commission and found out that they would be welcomed, decided to move the fair from Spencer to Barre. Some of the issues that were negatives was that Felton Field did not have any permanent buildings other than the hall. Camp Marshall did. They had horse facilities, they had an extensive, well, Felton Field does too, horse show ring area. But they also had a hall for exhibits, which would be comparable to the hall at Felton Field. And then they also had a building for the animals to be housed in during the fair, like all the cows and pigs and goats and you name it. When they come, they don't like to get wet. At least the kids that are showing them don't want to get wet. And that was a part of the original plan when the 4-H approached the Felton Field Commission, is that hopefully in the future there would be some buildings assembled, constructed, and everything. The curveball that came from that was that the national 4-H uppy-duppies won't let 4-H raise money using the name 4-H to construct something on someone else's property. So
This is something though, with Ann maybe.
Ann would have to do it in the name of the town.
Okay.
It would have to be for
I'll
use
speak to
by
Ann before she
youth
says that.
organizations without naming 4-H or somehow like that. And I've approached Ann several times, and she sounds very receptive to throwing a, 100,000 or 50,000 or 200,000 figure into some sneaky little hole someplace in
Yeah.
the budget. And,
Well, she very quickly answered me and said,
I think,
you know, unless I can get you some
Well,
money.
I was thinking maybe 10 grand at the max, but hey.
and, you need to be talking, to be realistic, to put up some buildings, to make
Oh,
Felton
no,
Field-
yeah, if we're, see, the thing that I think has to happen first is you're gonna have to have a landscape architect if you really want to do it right.
Yeah, a
And you,
plan for
and
the
you need,
whole thing.
and you need a plan,
Yeah.
A big
because
plan, yeah.
one thing, you've got great drainage there, you've got. a
Maybe you've got
wonderful-
somebody in town that would be willing to.
I'm sure we do. I'm sure we do.
It's like
To
the
help out.
the hall, that bump out on the hall, the roof on that really needs to be addressed
Mhm.
sooner than later,
Yep.
because what's happening now is the inside of that extension, that bump out, is deteriorating as water does its natural thing, it's rotting out. It's still savable if some money was spent first on the roof and then the inside. And that's, Maureen's 10,000 is probably a realistic number for just a roof.
Yeah. So lots of work to do, but a wonderful opportunity for 5 years from now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But thank you so much for letting me, shall we say, pinch hit for the horseback people in Colorado.
Okay.
Well, we're just giving
we
you
miss you.
work to do.
I know, well, you are giving me the work to do, because you're not back till Monday night.
Thank you very
No
much.
problem there, Maureen.
I'm great at
Thank you.
these
You didn't have any questions for me, did you? This isn't a gun.
Is that a knife?
No.
Thank you, Maureen.
Sword? All right, so what are we gonna do? We're gonna give it to be given or favorable? What are we gonna do?
I'd like to say favorable for that.
I would too.
Yeah.
And I think that Maureen can tell them kind of what they ought to do, and I think it will go over well.
Okay. I'll make a motion that
And
we
if-
have favorable action on Article 17 for
Second.
$15,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Can we have
Aye.
some discussion on
Well,
it real quick?
Yeah,
Sure.
sure.
Sorry, I'm.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I'm new to this, I just kind of want to
Okay.
understand
Yeah.
some things.
Yep.
So first of all, if there's something that I should be reading to understand, to be able to do my part better,
Mhm.
if anybody could let me know what that is, I would totally appreciate it. So one of the things I see is that the school budget is higher than what it's supposed to be. Everyone's scrambling around to find money. Where is this $15,000 coming from? And are we deciding that this $15 is more important than putting it towards the school budget?
No, well, Andrew really needs to be here for this.
Yeah.
Unless you can speak to it. But I mean, we're taking this out of free cash. right?
I'm coming out of this.
Free cash,
No,
Yeah.
I
out of the
understand,
blue.
Yeah.
I understand,
You know what I mean?
that's, it's a legitimate question.
No, this is coming out of free cash. Our budget items really to run a budget, you shouldn't have to touch your free cash.
Okay.
And
Right.
you need to save some free cash, which I think Andrew's doing a good job this
Yeah,
year.
Right.
save.
The way the numbers are.
And we've pretty much, well, we haven't really officially okayed the budget for the school, but I think we're pretty much there, because
Yeah.
the budget is pretty much balanced. See,
Okay, how much-
you're coming in really, really late into
Totally
this whole,
understand.
Yeah,
the whole
yeah.
procedure.
Absolutely.
And Ted can tell you, and I can tell you, that if you go to finance committee meetings, they have a, what is it, the
Oh, yeah, that's in the
association?
fall.
The
fall.
association. has
Oh,
a-
yeah.
In the fall, they have a meeting, and
Yeah.
all the finance, a lot
Have
of
you
the
got
finance
your book
committees.
yet?
I haven't.
It'll explain a lot
Put
of
that
these.
down
'cause,
for
I mean, there's
Andrew to get
millions
it,
of
one of the
terms.
finance. I think they put it on
So,
disc.
so I have,
This
He
business
emailed
here,
it
Did
to
you
me and
get one?
I printed it out, I started
this
and I
is
have.
Yeah,
the free
Yeah.
cash
It's like 100
stuff that
pages
we
long.
have
Yeah, it's a lot.
this year.
So if he
And a lot
could
of the
get
stuff that
Roger
we're-
that.
We're taking it, we're using as free cash. We're using
Sorry.
it free
I know,
cash
it's all the
all the
time.
time too.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
yep,
and the
Sorry.
school budget, as I look at the school budget, it was high, but our piece was not as restrictive as like Hubbardston and whatnot. So they were gonna vote the thing down,
yeah.
or more than
Which they-
Hubbardston, right?
Hubbardston
Hubbard-
did.
They did vote it
They
down?
no, they voted for it.
I thought they
They didn't? Oh, I thought they did.
didn't. No, they didn't.
Within a
No.
reduced amount.
Didn't you get your emails
Yeah,
and
I didn't
print
read
them
it
off
right.
and read it
I
and
didn't read
see?
it right, though, I guess.
We printed out the letter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
know
printed
it's a
out the
long
letter, and that was a
it's
mouthful,
I
but I
read it.
thought,
Did you read it?
I
I
thought I
tried,
did.
but I thought they ended up saying okay.
Yeah, I do too.
The hell
No,
is
That's what
it?
I
in
read.
fact, I've got the town meeting thing.
They had the meeting before they reduced the rate.
It's the information from Hubbardston, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's in.
I think
Yeah.
Hardwick was going to approve it.
Andrew said today, Hardwick would, Hubbardston didn't. He thought New Braintree was gonna, even though it was the 7%.
And Oak-
And I know Oakham is gonna.
Oh, really?
That's what, I was talking to Ellie down on, she's from Oakham.
Yeah. They usually say that.
And I work with the Oakham people and they seem to say, yeah, they were gonna. I guess it's not as high as it normally is or something. The way I understand it, one town gets hit the hardest each year.
Based on the number of students.
Right.
So the number of students.
And Hubbardston
in
got
Hubbardston
hit.
have-
hit.
Of course, they're building lots of houses over there, so they have.
Yeah.
We've been hit hard in the past.
Yeah,
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 kind of.
and
The other thing
Hubbardston
you
got
gotta
it this
remember too is
time.
if you don't pass the budget for the school, the state takes it over.
Yeah.
It goes on a 1/12 basis.
They pass it anyway.
And they tell you what you're gonna spend.
Right.
So,
So it's in our best interest to be the ones controlling it.
exactly.
Yeah.
But the whole things that they sent through.
Yeah.
One of these was the town meeting.
I thought I opened
I
the
got an
email.
It's
awful
in
lot
there.
of stuff. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah,
There
it's
was a
here.
lot to- It's in there.
I thought I
Yeah.
opened the email, but I guess I didn't get all this stuff. I didn't open it all or something the right way. I didn't see this.
And they wanted us to stand with them.
Yeah.
But
Asking us to
when I
reject
talked
any
to
school
Andrew,
budget.
Right,
yeah,
yeah.
For 6%.
he said if we stand with them, if I get it right,
Mm.
and say no,
Mhm.
and Hardwick and New Braintree and Oakham say yes, it's gonna go through anyways. So unless all 5 towns were gonna say no, and it's too late for you to, and how do you know if the town's gonna? It's like Russian roulette. Really?
It's
It's
unfortunate
budgets.
as well, because I mean, in order to make more revenue in a town, you have to bring in, you have to have new construction, you have to bring in new families bring kids.
Yeah.
They're only gonna come here if the education is on par or higher than the surrounding areas.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're in a catch-22. I agree, some of these line items, I look at them and I'm like, there's money that could be trimmed if you had a detail as opposed to a single line item, but I think, you know, there's only so many ways to make revenue when you're 30 miles outside, outside of Worcester, 20 miles outside of Worcester.
Yeah. So that's,
So we got to vote.
boom.
Okay.
Okay, well, did you have any more questions?
On 17.
I have a million questions. Oh, on.
Belton
On
Field.
17th,
Belton
Belton
Field.
Field.
Nope.
What do you
You got me
think?
confused.
Okay,
You
we're
just
on.
voted
Focus,
on.
focus.
Well, we didn't.
No, we
You didn't
haven't
say
voted.
all in favor yet.
I
You just- you-
I
your
interrupted
motion,
and asked
sorry.
it. asked
Oh,
it
Yeah,
to
that's
be
it's a
voted.
discussion.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
We should have
We're in
been.
I totally
discussion.
answered my question. I do
Okay, no,
appreciate that.
don't be afraid to
Okay.
do that.
Yeah,
So you have
I'm
no
not.
questions on
You'll
Felton?
see. Say again?
You don't have any real questions on Felton now?
No, I get it.
Okay, so we'll vote favorable on Article 17, that you,
Yeah, I made a motion.
You
we
made
got
the
a
motion.
favorable action.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
I do like to talk about the 5-year till the 250th.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that
I
would be
think that's
great.
something
That is.
that should be,
At one of the Board of
Just lost my
Selectmen meetings,
pen
it had come
tonight.
up, that it was coming up, and we should start thinking about this. I wanna say it was in January or something like that. So I think if the Felton Field Commission really takes over on that, that'd be fabulous.
right,
Yeah,
And a great way for them to fix it up.
Like, Valley Road, that was my playground growing up.
That's where I find my kid most nights. He rides his bike.
okay. So do we want to start on the, Article 21? And start with the, now, we can do just the total, right?
Yeah,
We
you're
don't
gonna-
have to, we don't go through each one, do we?
No.
Well, the thing was, in this first part, you're gonna say general government, and you're gonna say line so-and-so to 47.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
so much money.
Yeah,
Is that,
Yeah.
that's the way you want, everyone wants to do it?
yeah.
Is there another copy of that?
And that one.
I don't know if it's in there.
Oh, no,
Is it-
sorry,
one
no, this
isn't.
one here.
No.
Did you have one of these from Wednesday,
Ah,
from last week?
Yeah, from the
yeah, I think that's what I'm looking at.
from the
right now.
hearing.
Yeah, that's the one,
Yeah,
the one we
Okay.
gave out.
So I have the one that Andrew just sent today or
Yeah.
yesterday.
yeah.
So all of this information is in that as
Yes,
well?
yes.
Great.
Is it? I
Today's,
didn't get, I didn't bother
um,
with today's because I had this.
Thing
there was
is-
a little,
Yeah, we
there
gotta make
was a
sure we
little
got the right
something,
numbers
see
though.
this here? Did you catch that? That's now 626.
No, that's what I say, I was going over this thing, and I
Yeah.
tell you,
So
And
I've got
it's a
my old
rat's
one,
nest.
because my printer died and I couldn't print this out. Is, that isn't in the package that he gave us tonight, is it? I don't think
It is?
so. No, no, okay.
No, it
I
isn't.
made my corrections to my old one that I found.
so,
Okay.
on that
You want
first
to
part,
start?
so in the first part,
Part of the
the
second.
general government total was 824,176, is that right?
Yes. Yep. So you want me
So,
to start
like-
making
like
motions?
make a motion to accept line items 1 through 47 of the, what do you call this thing? Finance.
Finance
General
Committee,
government.
what, Finance Committee handbook, isn't it?
Budget.
Finance,
Finance Committee budget, right?
The omnibus budget?
That's right.
and it's just the,
Yeah.
Finance
well, Under
Committee
general
budget.
government. For a total of,
found in the Finance Committee
yeah,
handbook,
booklet, yeah,
booklet.
for 824,176.
Okay. Second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
You got that, Sandy? What have you got there?
You're talking about Article 21,
Yeah,
and then you went to the general government. So you're
Right.
saying line items 1
One
Through 47.
47,
through 47, okay.
the 824176, that's the number that should be in that book.
Got the number in your book.
Okay,
Yeah, so
Okay.
all they're doing is,
yeah, okay.
It's basically saying this is the number that appears in everybody's
Yeah.
booklet,
Yeah.
I hope. Now, the public safety things.
You'll do
um,
the police and the dispatch.
Oh, you're gonna do the police?
Yeah, because
one
there's
at a
separate
time?
totals. There's separate totals there.
Oh, okay.
You know the total?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, okay.
Yeah, police department.
Okay, so you got 799092.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'd like to accept the value, you want to say the budget for line item 48 through 65 for the police, police department, 799092.
Second.
All in favor?
Okay.
Okay, so I'd like to accept line 66 in the budget for the dispatch, regional dispatch fee for $137,388.
no,
No,
That's not
it's
right.
143.
What is it?
That's one.
Okay, so
one four
that's,
three four four zero.
Yeah,
so that got changed.
Yeah, but where
Yeah.
would you, okay.
144.
144.
143. 440.
440.
I checked with Andrew on that because I had come up with a different number.
Oh, okay.
And it had changed, and he looked it up and said something had been left
Okay,
out
so
of
we'd
that.
like to accept line 66 as $143,440 for the dispatch.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So.
Now, the next one, I think, next one is the ambulance, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the values for the budget for the ambulance. Total of lines 67 through 779 for 523,086.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now, the next one is,
Next
you
one is
probably got
so-
different.
Something's different, so
Yeah.
what's the latest and greatest on that?
On the
The
fire.
fire department stipends is 1,150.
Stipends is 1,150.
50. So-
983.
Oh.
1,050.
And what do you got for fire department clerk? 5,150?
Yep,
Yeah, the others are all right. So then the bottom number is 253,626.
626.
So what do we have for fire training salary? 22,000?
440.
So it's not 20, shown in the book for lines 82 is 22,000.
Right.
So
I've
what
got
is it?
22,440.
22,440.
Okay.
That's
So
the
that-
newest
that-
one.
That's an error there.
There's an
Yeah.
increase there.
Okay.
Well, the thing was, the 22,440 was in the sheets we got from the chief, but it wasn't in the book here. So
Yeah.
that's a typo. But the number's still.
Because I compared these to what he sent out today.
Okay, but the 253,626 is
adjustments
still
on it.
okay.
Mhm.
Yep,
Yep, everything else is okay.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to accept the values for line, for the fire department for line items 80 through 87 for 253,626.
Second that one.
All in favor?
Aye.
Animal control, that's okay, right?
Yep.
717215.
Mhm.
Make a motion to accept line 88 for animal control expenses, $17,215.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to make a motion to accept line 89, civil defense, emergency management for $1,000.
Second.
All in favor?
No?
Which
Okay.
one second?
Oh, go ahead. You're all set?
Brian did.
No, I'm unconscious,
I was just
so
trying to move it along.
jump right in, yes, do that.
Okay, so,
Can't move along fast enough.
So now you don't do the
Don't-
public safety
don't do
number,
that
'cause
total,
you did it
okay.
all separate.
I tell you what, this year was the most confusing bunch to track down from our sheets we work with to the numbers in here was a disaster, I thought. So I'm hoping somebody did it right, because between, you got your Board of Health mixed in with all the other
Well,
stuff.
I went
Well,
through
it's
and I
changed,
was
that's
adding and
all. Oh,
subtracting and making
jungle.
sure the numbers,
It's absolute jungle.
so that I knew it was
Yeah,
what,
well,
what was
hopefully
there.
that's it. So you got 119425,
Where-
right,
where
for
are
building,
you?
for building department.
90 through 97.
Okay.
Building department.
90 through 97, line items 90 through
what,
97.
what have you got?
It'd be 90 through 96 I have.
Yeah,
Okay,
one
so
from
the
Jim.
book I've got,
96.
so that's why I say that's all different.
It's 77,575.
Holy mackerel.
Where are you?
Let's,
Building.
90 through 96.
Reg-
let's go down through 90 then.
Well, yeah, okay, what,
90 through 96.
what do you have for
Regulatory
line
departments.
90?
90
63,705?
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
So you're looking at the same thing he is.
Building
Yeah, that's
inspector
right.
zoning,
This is from
591.
Okay.
9241,850.
Mm-hmm.
93, 6,120.
No.
Wait a minute.
5,400.
What did you have for 92? Zero.
Zero.
What?
What?
Oh,
For line 92,
Building
it's zero.
department, clerk's
Because
salary, zero.
they've combined,
They merged them.
yeah,
So
so
it's-
that's why this is zero.
Oh,
Okay.
so that is zero. Oh,
Yeah.
damn.
Probably go upstairs and look for it.
I was
Yeah,
gonna
we
say,
should have had a
there's-
printout of
there's
the
a way
current.
that we-
the current one.
It
that
was
we're
on your
talking-
email.
Do you want me to run upstairs and print it out?
It's a lot more paper, I guess.
Yeah, I
That's a
know.
lot.
No, I mean,
I
I think we can,
verified.
Well, yeah, but you know what?
We can just-
I verified.
I'll print the new one and I'll use your motions to the new one.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
we'll go through, put the numbers in that we,
Yeah, I'll still do
Yeah.
it and that way I'll have the right figures. And I'll have Andrew
Oh,
definitely
Line 90.
yeah.
line by line check it. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
before Tuesday.
93 was
Yeah.
5,400,
That does not
Yeah.
sound like a fun job.
okay? 94 is $250.
No, 94 is
2,000.
2,000.
It's the plumbing inspector stipend?
Yep, and then the wiring is 2,000.
Wait a minute, wait a minute. 94 is the vehicle travel.
Nope,
How much
No.
is that?
there is no vehicle
There is no
travel.
vehicle.
There is no
travel.
94.
No.
So,
Well, there is a
Well, now there's a
94, it's
94.
plumbing
94 is plumbing
inspector.
inspector.
oh, we
You
got
got
a
the
real
right one.
mess.
Yeah.
I got it online, I just
Yeah.
downloaded it.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
we should really get another copy. I'm sorry, this is, once you
Okay,
change the
you can-
line numbers,
right.
every line number is gonna be wrong now in the one I'm reading
Correct.
out of.
Right, that's why the new one is different.
Can you-
Yeah.
Or let me run upstairs and print one that I can give to you, you can follow with them.
Yeah,
That would be nice.
yeah, that would be great,
Have you
thank
got-
you.
No, I don't have the new one, but that's, I can just write.
Do two.
3.
Three?
Three.
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 I,
So I'm
I,
following along on my phone.
Yeah, it won't, my phone won't download it saying it's too large, but it's because it's fighting with the printing program.
well, I was printing that part off this afternoon and the printer got funky and wouldn't print. So I said, okay, so I went with it on my screen and took this and made notes to put down, to make sure it was the same.
Just on the idea of time, everyone has reviewed all of the marijuana bylaws, right? So there's 5 articles, I believe, on the warrant.
Right.
Does everybody understand what all of the 5 articles are? Okay, because
That's
there's really only 3 articles that are in question.
Okay,
Go ahead.
I have one question. On
Sure.
Article 27, they repeal 140, 11.1,
Mhm.
and they add the new okay? They don't say why they appealed the other one.
Why they're repealing it, because it has to do with the moratorium.
But I thought that now affects, what's his name there, the guy with the farm, now leaves him hanging.
Okay, so what they did is just Monday at noon, the planning
They
board
changed that.
had a
Yeah,
meeting.
it's right here.
And Dean and Kathy were at that meeting, I was also
Yeah.
at that meeting, and they included language in the new article, which is printed right here, that makes it so that Dean and Kathy are grandfathered in.
That's all I was,
Yeah.
Read your email.
That's the section.
Yeah.
I
three,
read them, and
subsection
they all look
three,
the
right?
same. It
Correct.
looks like
That was-
every
Yes.
copy I read
No,
looks
Andrew
exactly the
sent one.
same.
There was
This
a
afternoon.
letter out that said exactly what was changed in that Dean.
Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't see
The
that.
today,
Yeah.
late this afternoon.
Oh, I don't look late.
So,
I stopped looking at after morning.
Oh, yeah.
I wait till the next
Just push
morning.
me.
so that is in the planning board's bylaw?
That's 27.
Yes.
That's what I wanted to understand, what they changed. They put in that,
So on Monday, that's what they changed. Dean and Kathy were there just in case this gets voted through. They wanted to make sure that they were covered.
Yeah.
Because out of all of the 3 different bylaws, this is the only one that potentially affected them in a negative
Right.
way.
yeah.
Right.
They are still very concerned about this bylaw, though. Chris Higgins took this bylaw and went online, and there's assessors maps, and there's geodata, and all this kind of stuff, where you look at all of the maps of the town of Barre, and you can take and put a point on the edge of a building and run that line over to a property line. Because in this bylaw, they're talking about 500 feet away from residential buildings.
Now, this is for a store.
So this is for an indoor grow facility, a store, a processing
104
center,
pages.
anything that's not a cultivation center
Do you have front and
outside.
back?
This is for any marijuana establishment that would be done inside.
Oh, yeah, these aren't back.
And the
Yeah.
problem
Do you want me to look at
is,
your copy?
if you look at, this is a list
It depends
right
if your
here
printer
of
prints
every
front and
single
back, whether it's-
business commercial lot in the town of Barre.
All you need is
Don't
just,
stop talking, but I got
just
questions.
I am
those,
gonna stop talking, 'cause I
Few-
only wanna say it once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the thing I've been thinking about since you made the comment last week. If you don't have a bylaw, that if someone meets that bylaw and there's no place in town that you can have it, you don't have a bylaw now. You're actually making sure nobody
Right.
does this thing in your
Right,
town.
except,
I do not want to vote
Except-
for a law like that.
except, the planning board does not agree with what you're saying. They say there is 10 or 11, I don't know the number.
Yes,
But
so,
there are actually spots where it can be done.
that is not correct.
Well,
So,
Who
at
do you
chairman of
believe?
the planning
I-
board says
okay,
that, and
I-
I wouldn't believe him.
I absolutely understand that. I've read Doug's letter. I've been at the meetings.
Okay.
On the May 7th meeting for the planning board, I sat 2 rows back, and I asked the planning board, I said, hey, these bylaws look fabulous. Have you identified any areas in Barre that will allow this? And they said, yes, Dennis Fleming has identified the potential for there to be 9 properties in Barre that would accept them. I said, that's fabulous. Can I please get those addresses?
And they never did it?
I did. They
Okay.
gave me the addresses. I
Okay.
sat with Chris Higgins and we reviewed the 9 addresses. At Monday's planning board meeting at noon, I was there. And I said, hey guys, you said there were 9 properties.
Right.
If you look in these 9 properties, these 9 properties are in this. What Dennis said, their acreages were wrong, their footage, their setbacks were not correct. There's one location in Barre
Okay, we got
that's correct. There's one.
That's
That-
enough for me.
That's maybe enough for you, but that's not enough for the state. It's unreasonably restrictive. It's right in the CCC guidelines. So there's one property, only one.
Well, see, now-
That's Salvador's.
The thing is, I do not like a rule that does that, because to me, you basically say, the only guy we want to have one is Brian.
Right.
Then I know what
Right.
I'm voting
No,
for.
You're right for that, but I mean, if there's no regulation as far as 500 feet from a residents.
Yeah.
I mean.
So
there's
I
gotta be-
completely
there's gotta be-
understand that, so
Nobody wants it. Well, I
your
won't say
wife and
nobody,
I,
but
your
a lot
wife
of
and I
people don't
spoke
like
for
it.
about 3 hours one night.
Right.
We stood here and pored over these maps.
Right.
Said, Kathy, I understand your version of it. Can you tell me where in Barre would you want it? And so we talked about it, and we said, you know what, the old cozy cabin, the old cozy cabin would be a great place for it, completely out of town.
Higgins
It's-
Motorsport, that'd be a great spot for it.
I don't know about Higgins, but,
Rockworks, that would be a great spot.
so, right, Rockworks was brought up. There is a spot at Rockworks,
There you
the
go.
old car dealership.
Right.
But because of the residential area, the line from that building, it doesn't work because of the setbacks that they added. Cozy
Cool.
cabin, we said, hey,
Can you get a zoning variance from the zoning board?
I don't know. Like, first of all, there's no way my owner
No,
would
no, no,
ever
but I'm
do
just
anything
saying,
like that.
I'm just saying, if a person had a property and it was like 95 feet away instead of
to-
100,
I
he
don't-
could go before the zoning board of appeals and get a variance.
Sure, any property could go in front and the
Yeah.
Board of Appeals.
Well, there you
And-
go.
Right, but our bylaws that we're trying to pass, the way they stand, do not work. That's the problem. We're
you
trying to
already- and you
pass
already know
something
it.
that doesn't work. Here's the thing, as Matt Urban,
Yeah.
Chairman of the Board of
Yes.
Selectmen, stood up and said, as well as Dean said, there's the community host agreement, right?
Yeah.
So anybody comes in here, wants to start any kind of marijuana establishment, anything.
Has to go through that.
They have to go through the Board of Selectmen.
Right.
The Board of Selectmen, for any reason they want, can say, sorry, I don't like your hair color, we're not gonna deal with you.
Right.
Our voted town leaders have all of the power to say, this will work or this won't work. We already have zoning bylaws in town that deal with business stuff. It's the planning board, all of these articles, it's 24, 25, and 26. There's 2 citizens petitions, right? First of all, the state ethics attorney said that Dennis Fleming, because he's a member of the planning board, is not allowed to bring up a
But he's not a member
citizen's
anymore,
petition.
is he?
Quit.
He hasn't quit yet, he quits the day after.
I thought he quit
Nope.
already.
No.
Neighbor thought he quit, but.
His resignation is for the day after the town meeting. So, the state ethics board says that it is against the law for Dennis to bring up a citizen
Yeah.
petition to his own board.
Fairness is though.
Yeah.
So the community host agreement can govern the entire situation. The community host agreement can say, you know what, I'm okay with it going at Cozy Cabin. I understand it's 97 feet away from this property, as long as that abutter is here and they give the okay,
Right.
then we're okay with it.
Yeah.
As this stands, the way the planning board has it written, it does not work like
Doesn't
that.
work.
Anybody could get a variance, sure.
What about the selectmen's?
The selectmen's is great.
Article
So-
26.
Yeah, so the selectmen's licensing, so, the Barre Marijuana Review Committee gave our recommendations to both parties, both the planning board as well as the Board of Selectmen. The Board of Selectmen made 2 small adjustments to what we had suggested, and other than that, they did what,
And they took out all the zoning,
the odor stuff.
the regulate, 500 feet, 100 setback.
So that's not a licensing thing, that is a zoning thing.
Yeah.
Right, so the Board of
That's
Selectmen,
not
they only
in
deal with the
the Board of
licensing aspect of a business,
Right.
right? So what we try to do is take the licensing stuff
Oh, separate.
out of the planning boards and take the zoning stuff
I
out
got
of
you.
the Board of Selectmen's, because they're both trying to do like a
Yeah.
bunch of overreach
I
with each
understand.
other.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
So the Board of Selectmen's, that zoning, that article is, as far as I'm concerned, like, I'm
26.
going to vote for that.
Right.
Right.
It was, I mean, Neeker was on that, she's head of Q Drug. Kathy Inman was on that, she's not exactly for it coming into town. We all agreed unanimously on what we gave the Board of Selectmen.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm going to vote in favor of that. Every one of the 3 zoning bylaws, I'm not voting for. I'm voting those down.
Yeah.
Every one.
So,
So there's the Dennis Fleming one, which is illegal. I'm voting down. Matt Batista is a citizen's petition, and
Now,
basically what Matt.
is his
So what
different?
he did is he took the recommendations as given to the planning board from Barre from the marijuana bylaw review committee. He took what we did and he changed the fact that it was 500 feet away from a public swimming area to make it okay for it to go down at Cozy Cabin. He took away 500 feet from a residence to allow it to be at Rockworks. With all of the other stuff, it can't go on the common. It can't go within 500 feet of
I don't
any
think
of
it should be on the common.
any of the 3 commons in town. And when you take that out, it really wipes out away a lot
Put it on
of
Women's
the
Forum.
business commercial in Barre. And then we're down by IGA, and like I said, the one spot by IGA, sure, it could go at Leader if someone comes in and buys out Leader.
Yeah.
It could go to Rockworks if someone comes in and buys out Rockworks. There's another thing in the CCC that says this can't be geared towards people with a lot of money. Now, I'm just kind of dumbing it down, but that's what they say, is like, it can't be unreasonably restrictive, and I wish I knew the other word for it, but it can't be geared towards
Go out
one
on Williamsville
subset.
Road,
On Williamsville Road?
Christian Hill, way out there.
Is there business commercial out there?
I don't know.
I don't
know what
believe
it
there
is.
That's the other.
So,
All right, so that's
if-
article, what are you talking about? Which article now? 30,
Okay, let's see.
Batista is 29.
So Batista's, right, Batista's,
29, okay.
and honestly,
Yep.
that one is almost word for word the recommendation of the bylaw review committee.
Mhm.
It took out, like I said, the 500 feet from residences only because to allow it to go up to AJ's. It took out 500 feet away from the public swimming pool only to allow it to go into Cozy Cabin. It also took out that it needs to be a single-use premises. So that's in this
But there's a
bylaw.
swimming area right across the street,
There's a swimming area right across the street from Cozy Cabin.
right?
That's
Used to
why,
be.
Except it's polluted. and so-
exactly, I wouldn't swim there, but it's still a public swimming area, and people from Worcester come. But we took
And
it
some
out.
picnic areas
We
and
took
stuff.
it out we took that out only to allow it to go in Cozy Cabin. You know, that's why that was.
Mhm.
And then
You ever seen how much of that dump drains into that road?
it's
Yep.
amazing. I've been
I don't know
all
how
through
they
there
get
on my
away with
dirt
it.
bike.
That was a
How do they get away
political
with
thing,
that?
where they ever let it go
money.
in.
It's money.
Unbelievable. Well, it's my father always said, you wanna find out something that don't make sense, just follow the money.
Yeah.
So I haven't been here long enough, but, and I walked into the conversation, but if we're restricting things like odor and where the businesses can be, for what is a legal business now in the state, so let's say odor, what kind of restrictions were there put in place when Stone Cow, because I don't, I drink a little, but I don't drink beer. The smell of brewing beer or beer, stale beer on the floor
Actually kinda
makes me
nasty.
want to gag.
Yeah.
Stone Cow's not 500 feet from the road. It's not hidden behind a berm or a line of arborvitae. Heck, the playground is literally on top of the brewery. So it just, some of these, you're saying you don't like any of them anyway, but some of those restrictions are not being used for other types of business in town. The dump, on a, Tuesday in July, if you're riding your bike down,
Yeah.
down Main Street, South Barry, I'm sure you can smell it,
So
Worry about the
smell-
turkey vulture taking you.
Smell,
But-
I'm sorry, I'm gonna interrupt just
Yeah.
real quickly because you mentioned smell.
Yeah.
Smell is in licensing, it is in the Barry Selectmen's.
Right.
And what we had recommended as a committee was a meter that goes out. And it costs money and there's training involved and all this kind of stuff. The Board of Selectmen ended up changing our recommendation on the meter. And said that they were gonna have Andrew and one of their Board of Selectmen go out within 48 hours and
Sniff the air.
see and sniff the air, basically. And I'm all on favor with how they changed it, totally.
I'm
We-
just wondering if there's other businesses in town which raise revenue, which again, Families bring in money and businesses bring in
Have you lived
money.
next to a farm in the
Yeah.
spring,
Oh,
when they
yeah.
fertilize the fields?
Yep.
I
Matt,
bought
what
manure and
about
brought
the
it to
Barry
my house.
Wall?
I mean,
Yep.
Yeah.
but there's
was
other
the worst.
businesses
Nobody,
that
we never,
are
Hey,
not covered
we're
by
trying to
those
avoid
type
that in
of
the
restrictions.
future.
There-
How as
Nothing
a town can
happened.
we put
There was
restrictions on
nothing
one
wrong with
business
it.
and not put
It
them on
didn't
others?
bother
People are
us.
scared.
Why don't you get used
Oh,
to
I
it?
totally
Why?
agree.
It's really what it
Spent enough
is
time
the
down
people
there,
are
I didn't know.
uneducated
After a while.
and
Smell.
Just
they're
like the
afraid.
people
And
It's like
complained
yeah,
about
like,
the
I
roads.
mean, my personal
You
view
know,
aside,
it's
I
the
mean, I
silage
can't,
and stuff.
you know, I have to admit, bringing my mind around to whether or not I believe in recreational marijuana is still something I'm working with. I believe that it has medicinal purposes, and how can I agree with one and not another? So I'm personally working through that, but, you know, from a finance point of view, I don't think we can horribly, which is what these bylaws do, restrict one type of manufacturing business if we haven't done the same for other sources of revenue in town. Everyone I read, and I've been doing it late at night, and I'm yelling in my bedroom going, this is ridiculous, who wrote this? Oh my gosh, like, I'm yelling at the piece of paper, my son's like, what? And I read one thing to him last night, and he goes, that doesn't even make any sense. I'm like, I just, like I said, I couldn't personally get
Well-
up and stand and say I could vote in favor.
No.
I'm with you, I couldn't agree with any of those on a personal
either.
level.
No.
And-
Look at it this way, and as you debate as the recreational use of marijuana, in hundreds of years, no one's ever OD'd from it.
No.
And and it's not nearly as dangerous as getting in a car and drive, which
I
you shouldn't do,
agree.
because I
No.
absolutely don't.
No, absolutely.
But drink a six-pack and go drive, as opposed to a little recreational pot and go drive. Alcohol is a much worse problem, not for Barre, but for this country,
Oh, absolutely.
than a
It's
little
true.
bit of pot's ever been.
And the same,
I
the,
disagree with that.
the.
Yeah,
The statistics are there.
I
Well,
had
yeah,
two
but they're old
sons.
statistics.
They're in
No,
their
they're not.
50s
They're
now.
not.
The new
They started
statistics of
from there.
all the country taking.
So you.
And went
being,
for the stuff, and they say today,
then it-
marijuana started.
So is everybody
It
here
won't.
aware
It's a
that
different
DARE
thing.
dropped marijuana as
Right.
part of their program? And it has been a proven fact that they do not consider marijuana a gateway drug anymore.
Right.
This is coming right from
Well,
DARE.
I know too, for a fact,
Yeah.
my two boys.
When
And they will
when you're
vouch for it.
touched like that, I understand
They went
exactly
down the
where you're
road.
coming from.
Huh?
I get it.
They what?
They went down the road from marijuana.
No, it's not marijuana, it's predisposition, and genetically maybe, but it's not
No,
from smoking
Mark.
pot. Yeah,
Don't even go there with me,
I'll go anywhere you wanna go.
because
Because I lived it,
I
you
know.
didn't.
She
I
has
lived it.
She's
I lived
she's
it.
She's living her son's
With
without
her
an
sons,
issue.
but that's not because of the
Absolutely.
pot.
yeah,
Well,
it
who's to
started.
say? Who's to
I,
say?
I agree with you, but she's coming at it from a different point of view. And I've spoken to other people, so I am an advocate for it. I have helped numerous people get off of opiates by pushing them towards medical marijuana. My father, addicted to opiates. I've helped him beat it twice with marijuana. I've had opiates kill numerous friends of mine. And I've seen people get better with medical marijuana. I believe in it 100%. I understand other people, like I'm very passionate about it this way, and I understand your passion against the other way. All of that being said, what the planning board is trying to do is not right. The oversight can come from our board of selectmen. I think what the planning board
But
is
the
doing is
planning board's
incorrect.
role,
Is planning. And this here, if you spend any time with this document, I'll leave it with you, I'll forward it to you, whatever you want. This here shows that the planning board did their job, didn't do their job. They are trying to, they have effectively zoned it out of Barre. It has been brought to their attention that it is zoned out of Barre. I understand people want to believe what Doug is saying because he's on the planning board.
Right. You would
I
vote.
get
Yeah.
it. Well, I tell you what, Doug doesn't know half of what Chris Higgin knows sitting in front of that computer. I asked Frank, I said, Frank, did you guys look at a map when you came up with this? He said, yes. He said, yes, we have a map hanging right across
That's an
the.
excessive Sunday.
Okay, that's not telling him how far 500 feet is. That's not letting them plan accordingly, and that's their job. And that's why I want Dennis's spot on the planning board. I disagree with what the planning board's doing. I want to be on the planning board so I can make a difference. I'm not just a person who's gonna sit there and say, I complain and not do something about it. I want to be on the planning board because they're treating Barre wrong, period. They have a different agenda than the voters of Barre.
One of the things that got me was Dean made a comment about the situation in doing business in Barre.
Mhm.
And we had hired this company from Boston to do a study of the schools. And one of the things they do is a marketing study for your town, okay? And I mentioned Andrew about it, and we've now hired this guy, okay, that's doing some looks at the town. But he should be looking at answering the questions that Dean came up with about having a hard time working with the town.
Sure.
Because while we don't have a marketing plan for Barre, okay, we have an invisible marketing plan tied up in all of these zoning
Zoning,
boards.
yeah, the zoning
Okay,
laws, yeah.
so you have a marketing plan, unfortunately, you don't know what it is. So you don't know if it's helping you or hurting you. And right now, after that one comment Dean made, there's no question in my mind that we have a system that's hurting us. You wonder why we don't have any growth? Okay, look down, you'll see all the holes in the foot that you shot yourself with.
Okay.
And I don't know what to do about it, but I mean, it's a
Well, the
disaster.
zoning has to be reviewed, and.
Yeah,
Totally
something
does.
has to be done, Brian.
Doug did say something, that they have a plan to review all the zoning stuff and all that, like a 3-year plan. I love it.
3 years, good.
I
That'd be
think that's
good,
fantastic.
'cause they've been talking about
I
it
wanna
for
be
20
Part
years.
of it, sure. So, I don't know how much you remember about last year, looking at the proposed bylaw that they tried to pass the last time around. But it wasn't formatted correctly. There were not just spelling errors, but it went from A, B to L. It went from B, then 2, like, they did not put any effort into it. They wanted people to think they did, so at least I can see that they finally put some effort in. I can appreciate that they put effort in. Unfortunately, they harnessed their effort for evil and not good.
To me, it's boilerplate.
I missed the target.
It looks like a really nice government boilerplate thing. But the question behind it, when you read it, what the hell does it really mean? That's the thing that doesn't come clue around to those average folks in the sky. You know, that's why.
I know that there are 5 members on the
You still print.
bylaw review committee
Yeah,
that
it's
are
the
not voting
printers
for any
archaic
of the
a
3.
little bit.
That we're voting
And
down
double-sided takes
all
a
of the
minute.
3
Right.
to allow it to be in the Board of
All
Selectmen's
she
hands
had to do
and out
was
of
just
zoning.
print the numbers.
No, as far as I'm concerned,
Everything else is
that's,
fine.
that's my feeling.
Yeah, just the number sheets.
Can I ask another question?
Please.
I got lots of questions.
Yeah, I got you.
All right, so in the selectmen's portion,
Yep.
all right,
Which one's that, Jen?
that's the 26, is that the first one?
26.
All right.
Yeah, licensing bylaw.
Licensing, all right, so. All right, so under section 4, which kind of starts off by mimicking the.
Caps on the number of Board of licenses, that one?
Oh, no, sorry, number 5.
Okay.
So it starts mimicking the state requirements on how you have to list out, all
Yep.
of your principles. So then when I get to subsection 6, it starts talking about,
Temporary.
section 5. So if any person has an outstanding balance due to the town for any fee, charge, or tax, do they mean the corporation as a whole? Do they mean the owners, or do they mean all of the principals that have to be listed, such as the directors, security,
I believe-
managers, et cetera?
So I believe that is intended to mean all of the people listed,
Really?
yes.
So you can have a front-end manager who owes their excise tax to the town.
So it's not the front-end manager, it is shareholders of the
Okay.
business.
Oh, all right, so it's not everybody
No,
down
no,
the
no,
line, it
it's
would be
not,
just those
it's not
persons.
everybody,
Okay.
it's just the people who own the business.
All right, so that was my first one. My next question is about section B, number 2, where it says, no marijuana establishment shall allow cultivation, processing, manufacture, sale, or display of marijuana or marijuana products to be visible from a public place without the use of binoculars, aircraft, or other optical aids. So you can walk by the liquor store, see all the vodka on display, but you cannot walk by a marijuana establishment that sells edibles and see them sitting packaged on the shelf.
That is correct. So that comes from the CCC. So there was a lot of debate about, when I walked in there, the first meeting, I said, hey, let's just do the same bylaws that they have for alcohol.
Right.
They don't have any bylaws for alcohol.
But,
No.
but do you have to have a windowless building, or do your windows have to be
It's-
frosted or
No, no, no.
higher?
No, it's a
or-
windowless building. There, you can have
All
a
windows.
window, it cannot go into the actual room. I don't know if you have been to, so in Gardner, I suggest, just to educate yourselves,
Oh, down by the Staples?
yeah,
Yeah.
there's a dispensary down there.
Yeah.
Go and see what it's like.
Yeah.
You know, it's, you don't see it, you don't smell it. You're absolutely
No.
correct. It is not like alcohol because alcohol lost its stigma. Alcohol lost prohibition in the 20s or something like
Right.
that. So
It
we've
did.
gone 100 years after prohibition. This is year one after prohibition of marijuana. It's starting, and this is how it's gonna start. I've been to Colorado, I've been to California, I've been to Oregon, I've been to Alaska. Every single dispensary I've been to in all 4 of those states, windowless buildings.
That is creepy.
You do not see it. It is not advertised, well, it's advertised in Colorado, it's advertised in California. It's not advertised in Washington or Alaska.
Okay.
So.
Just look at the line, waiting to get
Okay,
in.
so that's another thing. Everybody was worried, oh, there's parking and there's lines and all this kind of stuff. It's not like that
No,
anymore. The
no.
first one, Leominster or
First
Leicester,
week,
was
Leicester.
crazy because you had all the green tourism coming in. People were coming in from all the states
Right.
around. It's not like that anymore. Go to Gardner. There is no line, no waiting. We could go there right now and get a joint and smoke it if we wanted to. Walk right in.
Even Leicester, that's it, I mean, you see,
Yeah.
there's 2 or
Right.
3 parked at the building, which are handicaps and,
Yep.
and employees, but even whatever. they
And
name
medical
it.
cards.
And medical
If you have a
cards.
medical
Yeah.
card, they have special parking for you.
But yeah, down the nursery, there's maybe now a dozen cars if you go by on a Saturday, I mean, the vans are still working, but there's no
Yeah.
cop directing traffic off Route 9,
It's
it's totally
nothing like
different.
that. And honestly, nobody in their right mind is gonna open a dispensary in Barre.
No.
It doesn't work. Numbers
Yeah,
wise,
that's what I keep thinking.
it doesn't work.
That's what I keep thinking too.
I've had, so like, people know me as being the chairperson on the Marijuana Bylaw Review Committee, and I've had people ask me about it. And it's like, no.
So,
Growing, processing maybe, but yeah, I
Absolutely.
think that's as far as.
Growing, please, bring it in because it's money for the town and it's over there. You know, it's not, people aren't seeing it, it's
Yeah.
not readily available, it's somewhere else. And I tell you what, people have been growing marijuana in this town since I was a little kid.
Oh, yeah.
You know, at least now it's behind a fence.
And the security that the Cannabis Commission requires, because I worked for a gentleman who was interested in getting into medical marijuana, and he goes, do you think you could grow it at home? I'm like, oh my God, no. Oh, like, he's like, you live in the woods, who would see it? I'm like, nobody would see it. But the security requirements are
Is what?
outrageous, not outrageous, but they're just.
All you
Oh,
really
don't.
needed
Very-
to print is
Strict.
just the,
Very strict.
Very
You
strict.
can grow
Just
it at
the-
home
don't
now.
bother.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
so you know.
Oh, no,
you
no, no,
can.
no,
It's
no.
one.
It's super
Oh, no.
easy.
He wanted me to grow
The
so
other
he
one's
could sell
already
it
going.
medically,
Terrible.
Oh, yeah.
take you out of your
No.
tree.
You
But,
need the whole, you need the whole,
but it was even
No,
years ago. it was
no,
just a
all we
minute.
needed was
the rest
the-
of it is
Saturday, and I'm
fine.
like, "Do you really
All we
want me to
needed
go to
was the
school
ones
for
that,
parent day and
They're
say, I'm a
stoked.
hot
Yeah.
grower in town?" I'm like,
And
"You're
she
out
could
of
have
your
pulled
tree."
them out and
What else you
photocopied them.
got?
What else do I get? That, I think was the end of that one. Oh, the security ones requirements in 27.
It's.
So, under application requirements,
No.
27.
the planning board one,
Okay, yeah.
so, under application
I
requirements,
think I'm here.
I mean, it's
the water
crazy
use
the first
study,
time around.
the waste management report,
Yep.
All
and
she
the
had to do was
odor and
photocopy
ventilation
these.
abatement plan.
Yes.
Again, I'm gonna be
Photocopy.
ridiculous. Are there other
Stupid.
industries in town that are required to submit those
I
things?
don't have the key
So
to the
water
photocopy of
management
that
plan,
here.
I guess, is something
I don't
that
need it, 'cause I
is,
wrote it.
You got it?
No, I
You got
wrote
all-
it.
you
often
got it.
requested.
Okay.
I
Um,
recorded it
A
in
lot of
my,
this, like an energy
my
and
screen.
environmental standards report, ask the planning board what
With my-
that is. I asked them. They have no idea what that is.
See, when I
None.
opened the email, I didn't.
But they're asking
After
for
that,
it.
I didn't pay that much attention because every meeting we had to go to there was.
And then my,
Yeah,
where's,
I
I
know,
wrote it on
but
the
Angela
sheet,
wasn't
like,
gonna
who the
be
heck
it
would pay for this?
so.
Is there another
I just hope
industry
she
in
gets the
town that the Board of Selectmen and the Planning Board restrict the hours of operation?
So I guess the way I understand it, the Board of Selectmen typically,
I just grabbed.
typically work with the company to have the hours
So you
of
went from
operation.
21 to,
You could photocopy those pages. We've got one
that is a
printed.
photocopy.
Okay,
The rest of it's still going.
because all we needed was just the
You need,
numbers.
you need
A
this.
single
Yeah.
driveway
The
in and
21
out.
Just
to-
that.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
the theory behind that?
'Cause
That's
everything
still
else
on the
is
planning
okay.
board, right?
Yep.
I can't
I didn't know
answer,
if you
so,
wanted the
I
ones
cannot
that
answer what the
said
theory
250.
behind the planning boards is. The theory behind the planning boards
I
is
just
to
printed
have
the
it
whole
zoned out
thing.
of town.
Double
Right.
sided.
I
Then
understand from a
My
security
print is
standpoint
slow,
that
then I had to go into the.
one road in,
Xerox
one road
to
out
do it,
for
so.
something large makes sense. But when you're talking in the event of emergency, if the place goes up in flames
Yeah.
and, or a tree falls down across the one driveway you have, then what do you do?
I
You don't-
hear you,
Okay,
yeah,
I didn't get to the meetings, I thought maybe they explained it to you.
no. I've been to almost all of the meetings, since February or something.
Oh, in what and I don't know if this came up, in what world is a business who's already paying the state for a license fee, the town for a license fee, going to wanna pay for outside consultants that the town wants to tell them they can't do business in town?
So that
That
was.
would be that would be number
There's an-
27K, outside consultant and review fees.
Yeah, and the way it was originally is everything before K, so, a traffic impact study. It used to say, the planning board may hire an outside consult, like, so we took that out of every single one of these.
Okay.
Left it in K, because what we were told is, it is common for the planning board to hire an outside consultant for things that they don't understand. So that is something that has
Which has
happened
been
with
the
other
zoning map.
businesses in town. It is not a
It's
typical
gonna be a
thing,
busy guy.
but it happens.
But shouldn't it be part of the planning board budget then, as opposed to another fee you're instituting on on a potential business in town?
I think so. I
But
think
we
so.
can't afford it.
I know that, but, well, I get that, but I just,
If
again,
we
I
allow,
think it all
if we
goes
allow
back
more
to.
grow facilities into town, we are not gonna be having the issues that we're looking at, facing right now with money. Just Dean and Kathy alone with a 10,000 square foot canopy is looking to give the town of Barre over $100,000 every year. Tom Egan, Castle Rock up on Walnut, he's gonna be hitting about $100,000 a year to Barre. That's coming to the town of Barre, that's coming to us, our budgets. You want 15,000 for Felton Field, here's 30. Make really nice bathrooms, I don't know. Like, we're trying to bring money into town.
Even put a door on them.
Well, again, that's it, I mean, that's it, in town, there are a select number of
Take out the
businesses
porta
and
potties.
property
I
taxes.
didn't like those bathrooms when I was playing Little League up there 55 years ago.
I mean,
And now
I'm
they've
an
got
outsider, I've been here
Porta
15 years,
potties,
but I'm not
and
even from
everybody in
the
town's
neighborhood.
using
I mean,
them.
I grew up
It's
50
actually
miles away.
sanitary.
Yeah,
But
but they're having trouble,
When we
the
moved here,
kids using them
we
because
left Holden
they're
and came
full.
here for a house twice as big,
Because
twice as much
everybody
land,
else is
for
using
what I
them.
sold my house in Holden
So
for.
they have to
And the
call and
tax,
have them
my
empty more
taxes
often.
were what I was paying in Holden. My taxes have gone up $1,200, which over 15 years isn't a lot, but they were $2,400 when I moved in 2005. They're almost $3,700 now.
Well, what did the
And the
Holden
value
have?
of my house is $15,000 more than I bought it for 15 years ago.
Well, what did you hold in taxes?
I knows, but my
See what I mean?
water and, but my trash was included in Holden. They had their own power department, I paid
Right.
minimal amounts for power, my power out here is more expensive.
Right.
And I hang out my clothes here because I refuse to pay National Grid. I lived on a paved road in Holden, I don't live on a paved road here, I mean, so, again, there are
more
only
for your
two
money.
options, there's business or property tax,
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
that's
exactly.
it.
Brian, you had,
Yes.
questioned, how the numbers worked.
And which ones, the
How,
taxes?
how Dean was talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah, he had me going around in circles, I couldn't understand.
Yeah, so, that company is a number of different companies, right? And the way they're taxing things, when you have a wholesale business and a distributor, you can take at your wholesale company and sell it at half the price to the retail dispensary, right? So the retail dispensary is able to make a lot more money
Under the same
under the same umbrella,
umbrella.
right? So CPC is, what they have in
Okay.
Barre is like the grow facility, and I don't know if it's processing or not, but his license is for a registered registered marijuana dispensary, which allows him to grow it, process it, and sell it.
Sell it.
Right, so Tom Egan, he's just asking for cultivation, he's just gonna grow it and give it to somebody else.
Sell it
Dean,
to someone.
sell it to somebody else, yes.
I get it.
Yep. So Dean has it all integrated in his company. So out of his warehouse in Barre, if he wanted to, he could sell it to his dispensary in Framingham at $50 an ounce, or $50 a pound,
Right.
say, right? So then Barry's only getting 3% of whatever he's selling it from here to Framingham for.
But he has to pay
But because of the,
tax.
but because of the
Also.
taxes over there,
Right.
he's gonna sell it super high from Barry out of state, or out of town.
Yeah.
So that way Barry is gonna see more money on the 3% side, because he's keeping his sale price from the wholesale to his dispensary really high.
But he'd pay the taxes, I mean, I don't know what the numbers are, but if he sold it for a higher price, he'd pay this federal tax, or whatever tax it is. He wouldn't be paying it in Barre.
Right, but the federal tax is more money than the 3% that he's paying to Barry.
Yeah,
Okay. What is it?
it's like a federal income tax.
What the federal tax is?
Federal tax is like the
Is that
taxes that the business makes,
You're talking about
right?
capital?
It's a federal tax that the business made on its profit.
Right.
So it's better for him to pay the 3%.
No, I understand what you're saying,
Barry.
what he's saying now, but.
Yeah.
I understand.
Does anybody else have any more questions on, so there's, I believe I hit the licensing bylaw for the Board of
Right.
Selectmen. I discussed the 3 zoning bylaws. And the next thing is the moratorium, right? So the planning board, what they're trying to do is do everything they can to get it to pass, to have a zoning law in place. And if we can't get it to the zoning law in place, they want to extend the moratorium. Unfortunately, the Attorney General has told the town of Barre that, hey, your moratorium that's in place right now, they don't know if that's even legal or not.
Yeah.
So they're trying
They
to
were
figure that
questioning
out.
it.
So us trying to extend the moratorium is not gonna fly. Does anybody else have questions on this?
One more question.
Sure.
Does the community host agreement have any expiration date from either side that requires us to allow Dean and Kathy to progress with their business or allow them to walk away? And if they do walk away, is there liability to the town for how far they've gotten?
You mean before businesses actually started?
Yeah, I mean, they came, they've broken ground, they've, in good faith, started to physically build their business.
Dean and Kathy are all set right now.
Yeah,
There's nothing that, with all of these votes and this zoning bylaw and all that kind of stuff, it is not gonna
it's not
affect
gonna
them
affect
in
them
any
or
way.
any other business.
In fact, the planning board graciously included language in their zoning bylaw that also allows Tom Egan
Right.
to continue along his path. Yes, so the 2 people who have come to the town already, and I've heard that there are 3 more behind these.
Huh?
So, I mean, we're talking about serious money coming into Barre.
Okay, stop right there further.
Right
So
to farm.
that's, you're saying
Go
20,
right to farm.
Right to farm, love it.
you said that 2027 has the language that cleaned up the business about repealing 11.1. But if we don't pass it, then what happens?
Then then marijuana is governed as far as the zoning is concerned, just like every other business in town. And all of the control goes to the community host agreement in the hands of the Board of Selectmen. It is not the Wild West, it is
No, but-
governed by the people we put in charge.
No, but that's if you accept 26. If you accept 26.
Yeah,
Okay, and you.
Suppose they vote
and-
no
and you
on
don't- You don't
26.
take
It's not gonna
27,
happen.
28,
You
29.
never know what's
I
gonna
do know.
happen.
26 is going to pass. There's not any, I have not heard anybody discussing
You
26.
can never, can you, Brian?
Well,
We've thought things were gonna pass, and they never.
I have talked to so many
It
people
goes.
in town, I know of, I bet I know of 130 people who are coming to the town meeting on Tuesday.
That's impressive.
So then, if 26 passes, 27 through 30 can be knocked down. And the magic language to keep Dean happy, that we've already said yes to, is in.
Dean is still fine.
Okay.
If these three go down, these four, I'm sorry, including the moratorium, Dean, CPC Barre, as well as Castle Rock, the two companies that have come to town already, are fine.
Now,
That is
what
correct.
happens with other ones? New people coming in?
It's governed by the Board of Selectmen. They
Yeah.
come in, the community host agreement will do anything the zoning law would do, the community host agreement can do,
See,
and more.
We need a balance. We need Board of Selectmen and a planning board, and working together. You
Understand the
need them,
concept.
You know,
They're not doing
you
it
need,
now.
you need that.
They're not doing it.
Well, maybe we need to elect some different planning board members.
This is true. If I get elected to the
Maybe I
board,
shouldn't
if I
say
get
it,
elected to the
but-
planning
He's running
board,
already.
it's going to be, I'm gonna do everything I can to make it so that, why don't the planning board and board of selectmen ever have meetings together? It's like one, maybe
Well-
two a year. I mean, I think it should happen at least once a quarter so they're on the same page.
Yeah.
why didn't the selectmen and the finance committee have common meetings like we used to?
I love that.
Yeah, we
Why
used
don't we
to.
do something about that?
And I'm gonna be a jerk and say, I work out of town, so they have to be
Wow.
after 6 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
I work 2 miles from my
It is.
house.
You know.
I can be here at 7 AM or
It
noon
wasn't
at
long ago,
lunch.
we would have this time of year, us and the select board would be sitting here together, doing numbers, agreeing and getting
That's
things done.
fabulous.
Right.
When did that change and why?
It changed 3 years ago.
Charlie left,
When
and
Charlie-
he was the last one that would
No,
come.
it had
Yeah.
nothing
Oh,
to do
really?
with Charlie, it was the
Now they
before,
don't
it's
feel
when,
like they're,
it's when Kathy Inman, Lee Ferris,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Richie were on.
Oh, they were there
There
every
was, there
time.
wasn't any
Huh.
personal agendas. It was, let's do what we gotta do
Right.
for the town.
Yep.
Now it's all.
That's the way it needs to
Now it's
be.
politically driven.
People are voted into these positions for the town.
well, the hell with the planning board, you better run for selectman.
You know, honestly, I can appreciate the Board of Selectmen more than I can the planning board. In all of my dealings in the past 6 months,
Yeah, but we just said, they're not here to any of our meetings.
I agree. And I think we need to say something. I will personally say
We've
something.
already done that over and over.
Oh, you can say it.
But you can
I
say it
will.
again.
Yeah. I'm wondering if there's been enough information given where we're able to take a vote on as the finance committee on articles 26, 27, 28,
Yeah, that's
29.
what
The
we've
answer don't
always,
mind.
we've always felt that.
What? Yeah, I'm, as far as I'm concerned, I'm ready to say what I wanna do, but I know what I'm gonna do anyways, but to me, for 26, that's the,
The licensing one,
Well, we
that's-
had voted
that's
on
the Board of
those.
Selectmen, right?
those haven't been voted on.
No, we haven't voted on those,
No,
but
because I haven't.
I was,
No.
We
I-
had, Andrew has it typed in, no recommendation,
for what?
for us.
It's because we haven't given
Because
a
you haven't
recommendation.
given
No, you
Right, no
have to
recommendation.
give that no recommendation vote in order for
At our
him to
last-
print it.
at our
So
last-
that's why I was confused when I read it here.
Where's
I
the one
said,
I just
At our
printed, that
last
whole
meeting
booklet?
here,
It's
we were
got
gonna do
something-
it at the
Right.
That's
public
what this
hearing,
is.
but
Yeah,
that
no,
went
she got
forever.
it.
Oh,
I've got it.
Okay, you
It was
printed
my
it.
understanding
And
that
it
it was
says
gonna
no
be done tonight.
Yes, because
recommendation
we
given.
talked about doing it that night at the public
For
hearing.
which
but
one,
then
Claire?
We didn't get to it.
All of them, all the marijuana ones. And I didn't remember voting on it.
No, we didn't.
Oh, we
And I
did not.
thought I was
Absolutely
going
did
out of my
not.
mind. And I said, oh, well, here they go,
I think
because
we should take a vote on
Josh
that.
had said we needed to vote on this.
Yeah, you did.
And I'm
You did.
still a little up in the air on things,
All right.
but
See, I wrote no action taken in my
That's-
notes.
well, he wrote no recommendation given.
Oh, no, it's
And
not-
that's
no,
what
no.
we put in when we don't wanna.
Well, I mean, no recommendation was given, but that's not what we gave. That's what he decided we didn't do.
I move that we take a vote on Article 26.
Let's get
Wait,
through,
wait.
why don't we get through our monies first?
Okay.
Okay.
'Cause we've gotta get
Then I-
those done.
then do that, we'll do that.
Yeah.
Where were we?
Let's
We were
see.
I've got
on
it down.
Line number 90.
90.
90. Because I crossed
So
out vehicle
90
maintenance. and you said
through-
no.
90 through 96,
Yeah, because that was different.
okay, and it was
You've got 77575?
77575,
Yeah,
right.
okay.
Excellent.
So I'd like to make a motion to accept lines 90 through 96 in the booklet, total for the building department, 77575.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And
Now, what have you got for that?
I don't have page 16.
Did it skip
Land
one?
use?
It's land use.
Land use, it's up the top, it's a little,
Yeah, well, there's some on the previous page.
Yeah.
Well, I got 15, and then I don't have 16.
Line 101.
I don't have it.
Right there.
Oh, no,
Line
this
101.
side, okay. Oh, Lord.
Mark, get over here.
Okay,
stop laughing, I'm trying to figure this out.
and that one comes out as
So
What
what-
have you got?
30220,
Yeah.
Yes.
okay.
So that's line 97?
I'd like to accept
That's
lines
102.
97 through 102
Yep.
Yep. Second.
for a total of 30220.
Okay. And Brian
Second, yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Board of Health, I'd like to
Welcome.
accept, make a motion to accept lines 103 to 112. Board of Health total 62600.
Second.
All in favor?
Wait, I'm the one looking at the old one. Did they move the Board of Health clerk down there? Is that the difference?
Board of Health expenses?
No, the
Oh, thank you.
land use admin secretary
Oh,
increased.
instruction services, okay. I'm good now.
You'll go before you.
Next one is the
I'm like, it's
public
$40,000, it has to be the 40 on the other page.
DPW.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to accept lines 113 through lines 124, DPW, 637826.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Parks and Commons, accept line items 125 and 126 for a total of 43,240.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Streetlights, line item 127 for $30,000.
Second that?
All in favor?
Aye.
Cemetery, make a motion to accept lines 128 through 131, cemetery expenses, 16,520.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'd like to accept line 132 for tree warden, $5,000.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Uh,
Culture and recreation.
Motion for line 133, recreation, $6,000.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Lines 134, youth commission, $2,500.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Historical commission, line 135, $1,200.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Holiday decorations line 136, $2,100.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion for line 137 South Berry Common, $500.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Library. Make a motion to accept lines 138 through 144. Total $230,446.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I just want to mention on the tree warden,
Yep,
I was looking at the last budget that I got.
They never spend it.
They spent $1,000.
Yeah, it's not unusual. They do that all the time.
So maybe we should keep an eye on that for next year,
We get it back in
you know.
free cash.
Yeah, it goes into free cash, but maybe we should question, aren't they doing any tree work?
Well, there's a lot of dead oaks around.
they don't do any tree work till it falls in the road.
Yeah.
And if it falls on a wire,
You know,
they say
if they've
hooray.
got money-
They'll charge the electric company. Okay,
They
that's
should
the
be doing
plan.
it.
Yeah, agreed.
So that's something we should watch.
Yeah. I agree.
I
You never
noticed
sleep,
that.
Claire, you never sleep. Okay, I'd like to make a motion to accept lines 145 through 147, Veterans Benefits, 99,785.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Wait a minute. Oh, sorry. Okay.
Got it?
145,
Yeah.
147.
I was on the wrong page. To 147? Sorry, yeah.
Mhm.
145 through 147, Sandy. We can make a motion to accept lines 148 and 149, Council on Aging, total 82,551,
Now, what number have you got for the director's salary?
42,817.
Okay, that's it's changed, because it was the other way around.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I remember, I
So
saw that.
it's changed. I wanted to make sure, though, he had it right.
Okay, so 82,551.
Okay.
Do we take
A
a
second?
vote?
Oh, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Make a motion to accept lines 150 through 152, insurance and benefits, total 802,748.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Everywhere.
Debt service. Like to make a motion to accept lines 153 through 172, recurring debt and interest, total of 593,853.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Like to make a motion to accept lines 173 and 174, central purchasing, $81,000.
Second.
All in favor?
All
Aye.
right.
Make a motion to accept lines 175, reserve fund, $10,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Then the big one.
Yeah, now what number have you got in there for the schools?
5679580
Yep,
How about the total though? That's what we.
total.
yeah, the total.
6178591.
Yep.
Let's do it.
Like to accept, motion to accept lines 176 through 178 for the schools, total 6178591.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
I abstain.
So what do we put down for that?
Abstain.
Just one?
Yeah.
One abstain and the
One.
rest.
So I'll do
2, 4.
5 and 0, 1 Mark abstain.
Yeah, okay.
I don't want to be accused of family working.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh, I see. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks for explaining that. I wanted to ask. I didn't know, if someone said something that I'm questioning, is it okay to ask?
Of course.
of course,
Okay.
anything.
I didn't know, like.
If you ask the
we don't
wrong
ask
question, you
typically
might not go on
ask
to that.
how people voted at the polls, you know, so.
If you get a tap on the shoulder on the way out from Guido, then start the war.
Right,
See, the thing of it is, through the year, we've gone through each one of these individually.
right.
So, you know, it's just for us,
Yeah, you guys understand it very
Yeah.
intimately.
we know that the end
Well-
comes out somewhere.
I wouldn't
Yeah,
say
yeah,
that.
we,
Yeah.
it's not that we understand it as much as we've been through every single budget with every committee and every department.
Right.
so.
Yeah.
So we're not just,
See, that sounds like a
We're
lot of fun.
not just saying, okay.
oh, it is a lot of fun.
Nice.
Except when you get into zoning bylaws, and it's no fun.
I thought that was kind of
Now
fun.
you gotta
It's been
do the
past
sewer.
6 months of my life.
For you.
Sewer is one, it'll be one budget, right?
Yeah,
That's
sewer
what I thought.
and then water.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the sewer enterprise budget lines 1 through 16, 747, 298.
Second.
All in favor?
Well, I have a question.
Yeah?
Does the board, the Board of Public Works, or whatever it's called, did they okay this too? or- But Andrew isn't here, so nobody knows.
Okay, what?
Their budget, because it's them that
Aren't they
set
the ones
budget.
who submitted to us?
They set the budget though, yeah. Did they
Yeah,
vote
but
on
they're
it?
an enterprise.
Yeah, but they still have to vote on it. Anyway,
I don't know, well, we voted on it.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Mark already did.
Mark
You already did.
Good man.
Yeah, you betcha.
Okay, now we go to the
Okay,
water.
The water.
Yeah.
Like to
Yeah.
make a motion to accept the
Okay.
water enterprise budget, lines 1 through 15, 522176.
Second.
All in favor?
And amen.
Amen, so that's.
So that's done.
So I think all we got is the,
We voted on that flag thing.
15,000 we did, so it's down to
We
the
voted on favorable.
meeting.
I remember.
That lady was really upset.
She was
Yeah.
really
I
upset.
wanted to ask her, how long has this flag bothered her? Okay, she's not 19. Okay, I wonder what year it really started to bother her.
Right?
We should erase all
I
bad
wanna say
history.
like 3 to 4
I don't know
years
who,
ago.
who
That's
she
what I'm
was.
guessing.
I had no idea
Oh,
who
yeah,
she
I
was.
never heard
I didn't recognize
peep
her.
about it.
She didn't give her name either.
Let's not keep any of our history in this country.
Right.
Just
Wipe
throw it
all the
away.
bad history out.
Wipe it out.
Yeah.
So,
And we did 35, I've got written on here favorable. Yeah, we did,
Which is to be done.
the zoning.
I have 33, 34, 35.
I got
I just
favorable.
moved them because I was trying to write.
Yeah.
So what about
Those,
the
we,
marijuana thing?
Let's go
Yeah,
back
we've
to
gotta-
26,
Wait a
no?
minute, what
33, 34, and 35, we
Favorable.
had voted
what
favorable.
about 31 and 32?
Okay,
We
now
didn't
we've
vote on
gotta
that?
go.
That's what we're working on.
No,
We didn't vote,
Jungle.
26 to
Right.
32, I have nothing.
no, then that's what we've gotta, I
Okay.
don't really know on the solar thing
No,
either.
no. So we should take up 26 probably?
Yeah.
Take 'em up in order.
Well, we've gotta do 25.
Oh,
Oh, no, we did
No,
that
you
one.
did no recommendation on that.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so that one we voted on,
Yeah.
26.
oh, Mary Jane, okay.
I make a motion
There you go.
that we vote favorable on Article 26.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Aye.
I'll make a motion that we vote unfavorable on Article 27.
Second.
In favor?
Aye.
All right.
I'm
Uh,
gonna abstain.
Did you say in favor, Mark? You said in favor, right?
Yeah.
In favor of
In favor of
unfavorable.
unfavorable.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Oh.
right, right.
Okay, so, and Claire, you said you're.
I'm
Yeah.
abstaining also.
'Cause
Okay,
I
so
just-
I've got 1, 2,
I don't know.
3, 4, 0, 2, abstain.
After you talking tonight, I've gotta digest everything.
Yeah. How
If
many are
if you ever
saying?
wanted to talk more
Okay.
about it, I would be happy to.
Yeah,
So just so you're aware.
okay.
Okay, so that, okay.
Article 28, this is the citizens petition that is, according to the ethics board, illegal.
What, do you have that in a letter?
Kathy Iandoli has that in a letter, yes.
Okay. Just make sure.
So for Article 28, I make a motion that we vote unfavorable.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Hopefully you're right, 'cause I didn't see the paper.
Article 29, which is the citizens petition for Matthew Batista. I make a motion that we vote unfavorable.
second,
Do you want to vote?
Abstain.
I'm gonna do the same thing.
Aye.
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 So that's 4.
Yeah.
Two abstain.
I guess that's a favorable.
On Article 30, the extending the moratorium, I make a motion that we vote unfavorable.
Second.
Aye.
Who's second, which one?
Mark.
Take it, Rick. We're all the same.
So,
And how does everybody want to vote on that?
Aye.
I'm not sure.
you said unfavorable.
Unfavorable, that's
Yeah,
correct.
Aye.
No,
Aye.
I don't want to vote unfavorable.
So,
Okay.
I'm gonna abstain.
So 4
4
and
and
2.
1. It's 4, 1, and 1, right?
Is it
Yes.
4, 1, and 1?
So it's
Yeah.
favorable, I mean, it goes down as favorable.
Four,
It does,
one.
but I think they like to see the numbers.
Yeah, oh,
Yeah,
they do.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
they might ask you why
Yeah.
you voted the way
So,
you
so
did.
you-
true.
what,
Because
so
I've
what do
had
we have,
that
2
with that
abstain?
Maybe I
before.
should change to abstain.
No,
Wait,
1 unfavorable, 1 abstain.
But didn't you say a little while ago that the moratorium as is?
The moratorium that was approved in December is under question by the
Under
Attorney
question.
General. And they are going to give us a determination on that by July 20th or
Yeah,
something
well,
like
they
that.
should have got on there,
Okay.
but got it
Totally.
going and told us by
Totally
now.
agree. The thing is if they're already questioning the one we had in December, I can't imagine them saying, oh, you're cool to have
Are
another
they
one.
really questioning it, though?
Yeah,
How do we know that?
it's from the Attorney General.
What, is he sitting here?
Oh,
Is it in writing, I guess?
It is in writing, yes.
Oh.
I think Andrew has copies of that.
Who does?
I want to say Andrew has copies of that. Yeah.
On 30, we abstained 2, or you
Yeah,
said?
I'm confused on that too. What?
That
One
was the
abstain and
moratorium.
one
Abstain.
unfavorable.
Wait a minute, no, there's 4
because-
unfavorable.
Yeah,
Oh, well,
It's 3, 1, and 1.
3, 1,
1,
Yeah,
2,
what's
3,
the
4.
other one?
Four,
One is
one,
abstained and
and
one
one.
wants it.
So 4 of us
Favorable.
want the moratorium to end.
Yes.
One of us
Abstains from the vote.
Abstains.
One of us wants to vote favorable for the
Oh,
moratorium.
Right.
favorable.
so
Yeah.
one favorable, one abstain,
For
Four.
unfavorable.
4 unfavorable.
Yes.
It's very confusing.
That'll really move the
Yes.
meeting along
Yeah.
big time, too.
It's like the laws when you vote.
So
Can you check?
am I putting the name who abstained and who favorable?
No.
No.
No, just a
Okay.
vote.
because they can ask.
Okay,
From the
so
floor.
I'm gonna make sure I don't do that on the other ones, okay.
Will I be
I'm used to
sitting at the
doing
finance
that.
committee table at the
Yes.
town meeting?
Oh,
Yes, you
yeah.
even get a little plaque.
No,
With your
sir.
name
Oh,
on
come
it.
on, he's gonna have to
This
be,
is fantastic.
you have to be
I
here
don't
for a
have a
year
plaque
before
in
you
my
get a
office.
plaque.
If it's
Do you know how
hot,
many
you get a
plaques
guy
we
with a
have in there
fan.
that-
Oh, this
Covered
is
you.
wonderful.
Oh, yeah, it's
It's a
everything.
shame. It's the money.
Yeah, it is a waste, so that's what I say, you have to be on there for a year, because
Yeah.
you gotta go through the whole
Yeah.
process
Yeah.
before you get your name on it.
I'm okay with the paper tag.
No.
I'm okay
Oh,
with
my
that.
name is.
I'm just saying.
We'll put a
I
sticker
will,
on
I'll
a new
earn the
member.
gold one. I'm cool with that, but. Can I be on the planning board and the finance
No.
committee?
No.
I don't think so.
When you're on the finance committee, you can't be on anything.
Can't be
else.
anything, no.
Yeah, make it paper.
But you can come to the meeting and ask questions,
I got you.
every meeting.
Yeah, I'm gonna email the Board of Selectmen. I wanna know why they're not more a part of this. I think they should be. I'm a squeaky wheel.
They would say that they're a part of it because they're in contact with Andrew, you know, they're working with Andrew.
I don't see Andrew.
Well,
Well,
Well, he's
they're
usually-
sitting in his seat, huh?
Hey,
Andrew's
you're picking on
usually-
Andrew.
I love Andrew. Andrew is unbelievable.
I don't know how he
Unbelievable.
survives
I agree.
what
Yeah.
he does.
So what are we gonna do about this
Okay, we gotta go
solar?
31
So
and
31.
32. What do we do about these?
I don't have a clue.
I don't either.
Let me get-
All right,
What
I
if-
wrote a note that says, no action on 32 is needed if 31 is accepted.
32 is a citizen's petition to amend the zoning code. How? But it's by Dennis Fleming again. How does that pass?
Oh, it says you can find it in Appendix
You
F.
would think it would be the same as the
What?
marijuana bylaw.
Exactly,
You would
that doesn't make
un-
any sense to
be
me.
unable to
Well, then,
recommend.
I'm gonna vote no,
Oh, that's Batista's.
Public office cannot go before his own board.
Right.
we have to say no opinion then.
Hmm. Kathy and Dean signed the Batistas.
Yep, I signed Batista's as well. Most of the members of the marijuana bylaw review committee did sign it, just because it's so close to what we recommended. Just with what I know about the whole thing, I don't agree with it having any zoning. I mean, I think it should be zoned like regular businesses and dealt with by the community host agreement.
That, to me, ends up making a little bit more sense as to where, when you have two guys in the deal and there's a problem, it's not this guy's fault, okay?
Yep.
Well, unfortunately, when you don't have that, it's your fault, good or bad, so I like that better.
It does add ownership to it.
Right.
I don't know what that solar is. Did you read the solar, Jen?
Well, the 31 is only one, it's just changing the existing bylaw by taking out one subsection. And I didn't finish 32 on it.
That, you
See, I
said
got,
two
the only thing I
thirty-five.
don't like about 32 is that it gives the planning board all authority in that. Like, it wouldn't even have to go to vote, would it? Am I reading that wrong?
Need Sam here.
Planning board may waive any requirements or conditions specified by the bylaw. To determine the requirements and or conditions are not necessary. Well, the change in zoning, or the zoning itself, is usually a vote at the town meeting, is it not?
The change zoning, it requires a town vote.
Right, so
Two-thirds
is
vote.
this giving that up? And giving them sole authority to,
No, it's
Non-substantial.
actually taking this out of what was already voted on.
Striking the following provision. Oh, they want, this is to strike the planning board
that
being
from-
able to waive? Oh,
okay, then I'm
So
okay
they
with
That
wanna
that.
makes sense.
take that
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
And then if that is accepted, then it says 32 doesn't need to be voted on. Or someone said that at the last.
I'm okay with 31. But 32 is an illegal thing anyway, right? Not a conflict of interest.
Yeah, because I've got a note written here, remove. So that must be what you've,
Can I make a motion? That
Do
we
it.
accept
Sure, do it.
Article 31 is favorable?
Second,
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And this one is saying no changes. So, yeah, if 31 is passed, then they don't need, 32 is putting it back to the previous way.
So,
It's not making any changes to the
no
current.
recommendation, or, I mean, what the heck, how can we recommend?
Yeah, you
I-
can't because you, to be given, we
The only
could
thing
do.
on that, number 32, is it's a citizen petition, and the citizen
Is Dennis
is
Fleming.
Dennis Fleming, who's on the board, and he really shouldn't be making any
Oh,
petitions. So I would like to.
I would have
make a
thought he
motion
would
that
have
we vote
checked
negative
that.
on that for now.
If people don't call them on it, it's like spot zoning. If someone doesn't call you on spot zoning, it's not really a thing. If someone's not gonna call them on it,
Yeah, I mean, if we're
Did you-
voting to.
did
We
you
can
make a-
always do a to be given and not give it because this,
Hmm.
if,
I just on the basis of it being a planning board member trying to do a citizen's petition about the zoning change,
Right.
if this comes up for a vote, I would vote unfavorable just on those grounds alone.
Me too, that's why I wanted to do that.
Plus, if we vote to remove it, accept 31, and then in 32, that clause is added back in, then we're voting against ourselves.
Right.
To be given.
Did you make a motion, Mark?
I made a motion
Yeah.
On 31.
on 32, so I vote against, unfavorable.
Okay, I would second that motion.
Okay.
Thank you.
see, I would say to be, just leave it to be given. And we
All
can
in favor?
give it when it comes up.
It's a motion, but,
Well, we can
Seconded
have
motion.
discussion.
yeah,
Discussion.
So
You know what I'm
you're
saying? If 31 gets passed,
32 doesn't happen.
yeah,
But who's gonna determine that?
It gets determined. on
they'll
the
take
town
it off
floor after
the,
we vote it.
take it off. They'll just
Don't-
drop it.
Also, who's gonna just drop it? Does the moderator know that if 31, I mean, where's the magic words
Yeah,
here
well,
that says
they
if
said
31
that.
past 32 is not needed?
They said that at one of the meetings.
No, I know, but I'm saying is if,
Is it right?
just coming in there at night.
My scratch
All
doesn't
right.
count.
I see it right.
I don't know, I think Josh was pretty on point.
I do too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my
Absolutely.
take of
I
it
think
so
so.
No,
far.
I like it,
He's
but
got us, there's another member on our finance, so we now have our 7 members, Mark.
that's good.
As far as discussion on the motion made, you suggested that it be given, our recommendation be given if 31 doesn't pass.
Doesn't
correct?
pass, then this will come up
So
on the floor.
my experience with the town meetings are, they're long, hot. So I think if we're able to give a recommendation now, if it does come to pass, it's already done, and we're not spending more time in that auditorium
Well,
altogether.
we're not gonna spend more than a minute to do it,
It's not, no.
right?
If 31 goes and they pass it,
Yeah.
they will table this one.
Yep,
We don't have to vote.
right.
We don't have to do anything.
But based
Right.
on principle, I'd like to have an unfavorable on it, because it shouldn't be being done, period. So I want that opinion to be on record.
I
And we
agree
can
with that.
explain
And,
why, because he's on the board, he's got a petition to the board, and he can't do that.
So you're saying, Mark, you would recommend unfavorable?
Yes.
So you
That was the
basically throw
motion.
this right off the table, period, bang. That's what the unfavorable means.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, okay, I can live with that.
I would think the majority of the town people are gonna pass 31, because a lot of them see what the
Yeah,
planning board
but
has
see,
been doing.
my reasoning isn't what happens with 31. My reasoning is to bring to the
Understood.
attention of the town people that this can't be done. It's not right. It's conflict.
Yeah,
I guess so.
I agree, that's why I seconded that motion.
okay.
Well,
Okay,
I'm
take a
gonna
vote.
abstain.
I'm gonna vote unfavorable.
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 How are you voting, Brian?
5, Brian?
Yes.
5.
So that's 5 to 0 to 1.
So, yeah.
There's a lot of confusion.
No kidding.
Try to take some notes.
And that's it, we've done
I
it all.
got this tonight, and I'm like, sometimes I go on, if it's videotaped, I go on YouTube, and I put on closed caption, so I can read and hear
Oh, that's
it, and I
fabulous,
type
what a
it
great
out.
idea.
But
Never
sometimes
thought
I
of
have to
that,
go
yeah.
back, yeah, because, yeah. Takes me a little bit of time.
I think we're done, right, Claire?
Yep,
Amen.
yep.
That's it.
6
done
o'clock,
until-
are we gonna show up 6 o'clock?
Yeah,
Is that what the
yeah,
plan is?
because the meeting's at 6:30, right?
In
Yes.
case there's any
Well,
changes.
Yep, I've got to ask you though, I think it said we
It said
was,
something about 7 o'clock though, and I was confused on that.
Yeah, I
No,
heard 7 o'clock, I heard
He
6:30.
posted it on My Town Government
yeah, that's what I was
for the
going to
annual
look at.
town meeting.
Yeah.
I was going to look at that, because that is different.
Yeah.
So I don't know, you got to get it straight before that.
I'm so excited I get to sit at the big boy
Whatever,
table.
whatever time gets posted, we get there a half hour early, John.
Right, yeah, but
We'll
it's
be-
posted
we'll be up-
different ways. Finance
That's not
committee
good.
posted.
Okay, finance
We'll
committee,
get there at 4.
6:30.
Somebody else comes in.
I'm okay with paper.
Now,
Really?
selectmen
mind.
haven't been posted.
The
Oh, yeah.
selectmen, yes, it has.
Yeah, I saw it.
I mean,
It's there.
you've got,
You go,
But wait
go
a
out
minute,
and
I got to
back
go
in
further.
because-
No, I got to go down further.
Yeah.
I saw it.
Selectmen.
It's
Okay.
there.
Monday meeting?
Monday.
No, they've got a Monday meeting.
Yes.
Yeah,
What about the
Tuesday.
town meeting?
that's Tuesday.
That's Tuesday.
Tuesday
Yeah.
It's
meeting.
there,
That's Tuesday.
it's there. It's
Town
there.
meeting is there.
Right.
what time's the town meeting?
Okay, planning board,
The town.
Is that the
Board of
town?
Town meeting is
Assessors.
at 6:30, but there was something about 7 o'clock.
yeah, but listen, you don't have the Board of Selectmen posted for the town meeting. You've got finance committee, assessors, planning board,
I thought I saw it there.
and then there's town meeting. But there's nothing for selectmen. So for
So
the
they can have-
finance committee,
Not posted, they can't.
Can't be there.
I'm gonna assume that we should be there at
posting,
6.
yeah, but you've got to post it for 6.
Okay.
Our finance committee says 6:30.
Oh, I see what you're saying, Claire, okay. I thought it was all grouped, okay.
Okay, so 6 is right.
Yeah,
Right, Chairman?
she's got to do it.
Okay, so we have,
The town meeting's at 6:30, it
so
says.
we have finance at 6,
Yeah,
Board of Assessors at 6, town meeting at 6:30, planning board at 7.
yeah, well, it says, okay, in the agenda, it says
Touching it, and it moves.
6 o'clock, no, 6:30, it says, meet to review town meeting articles, 7 PM, attend town meeting.
So it. town
So
meeting
what
gonna start
time
at 7?
is town meeting?
Usually
Must
it's
be at
6.
6:30.
Usually it's 6:30.
Are you
but-
sure?
Usually
On the front of the warrant, doesn't it say?
It says right here, oh, wait a minute,
It
sorry.
says 7 o'clock. Oh, no, that's June 6th, sorry.
Yeah, I just did the same thing, but no. wait a
7,
minute. No,
Wait a minute,
it's-
I got it
it's-
right here.
It's always been 6:30.
yeah.
Yeah.
6:30,
Well, not always,
yeah.
but-
Well,
So,
yeah.
change
you've
it.
got to
Change
put
it to
ours,
6:30.
finance committee,
Doesn't help, we still get up
at
the same time.
6,
Yeah.
That's why we changed it, remember?
okay?
How did I do explaining the bylaws and the differences?
Good, I'm happy,
It says 6:30.
Okay.
I'm happy with
I
that.
missed it all, but that's.
Where'd you-
25 words or
It says
less.
6:30.
Okay, because,
Okay,
to a
the
certain
annual town meeting warrant says 6:30.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Okay, so we're all set, right?
I think,
we're
Just
gonna be up
cor-
at 5 anyway,
take away
so.
a
just
lot of-
correct your posting,
get
though.
right down to the
Because if
thing.
somebody
Right.
looks at that and says, oh,
You said it
7,
was like 2
Yeah,
different.
you know what,
Straighten that
I
out.
saw that, and Andrew had a need for his other meetings, so
Yeah.
I never said, oh.
Because this
Check
business
with him
word, it's
because
not me, it's not you,
that
it's
could
not
really
you, it's
mess
not me,
things
that's
up.
a disaster.
I have a big meeting at the senior center on Monday. I'm meeting with a big group of people at the senior center. So I want to make sure that I'm going down there in
Make-
case
make-
anybody
make-
has questions
make that
about
clear.
the marijuana bylaws. So I want to be
Is
able
it
to.
during the day or?
Yeah, it's at 9:30 in the morning. It's right before all their activities start
Oh, nice.
and right after coffee time. So it's
They'll
like
be awake.
Us old people,
perfect
that's how it
time.
is.
So all the old people getting up to go pee.
Is that what you're
Yeah.
looking at?
what?
They'll be awake after the coffee.
Planning board, is that what you're looking at?
If you have it
No,
after
I
the
was
dessert,
looking
they'd
at-
be sleeping.
Yeah, have to get there a little
Okay,
early.
the
to
town
join in with
meeting
them
one
there.
says 6:30.
See this,
It's, I think it was the finance
this is
committee one.
morning in my house, okay?
Is that a bear?
Finance, he has you like.
Scratching his
six.
belly, okay, up against my ankle in the side yard.
7 o'clock is planning board, is that the
He
one you
was,
want me to talk to him about?
I just put some bird out.
Yeah.
See out for the birds.
To make sure,
They
look at
come
all
over
of
and
these
they
and make
eat
sure they're
some.
Looks
right.
like a big one, huh?
Oh, yeah. Fat,
Okay.
oh, that thing was huge.
Huh.
But when he was scratching his belly, that was the funniest thing. Get up on that tree and just scratched around for a while.
They've seen him down on Willett Road.
Yeah.
Yeah, I live up on Spring Hill, and we got
Yeah.
a bear
We need
right
to
up
move
around
some
there
money.
too. And a mountain lion, I had a
God,
mountain
you
lion in
gotta
my
move money?
backyard.
Move some money.
Really?
And I thought we were all done.
Yeah.
I
What
live
do we
on
gotta do
Spring Hill
now?
Road. Where do you live on
We
Spring
gotta
Hill?
549,
transfer
I
some
live at the
money.
old Streeter house.
Oh, what?
Let's see what we got
You
here.
gotta read it.
Oh, okay, I'm
Maybe
next
we
house
won't
up
wanna
on your
transfer.
side.
Where?
Wait,
Transfer
the ranch.
You gotta read it.
I mean, the next.
Just before the line.
Alive?
Oh,
Yeah,
but up on top
so
of the hill?
everybody
Yeah.
knows what it
Oh,
is.
okay.
Yeah.
The road is horrible right there,
Oh,
right?
yeah, well, it's safety, you gotta
Oh, yeah, you
understand.
have to go slow there.
Okay, right. It's
Oh,
not
no,
fair.
now I'm gonna have to go slow by your house. Please don't recognize my truck.
Too late.
Oh, Claire, see this? This morning, there's a bear, and he's scratching his belly on my apple tree. He went right up at the back, and I couldn't get my camera out, and he turned around and scratched the front, and he went in the woods.
So what do we do, make a motion? Or how do we handle this?
Well, you gotta read it first.
Well, I'm reading it.
What is that?
I'm
So
reading
read
We
it
wanna
out
we
loud
wanna
so we
trans-
know.
But do you wanna wait till?
We want to transfer $500 from the county retirement account to be transferred to the select board expense account. The current balance in the requested line item is $563.29. And they want to put a 500 transfer into the select board expenses. So we can pay for the new sign boards that go on.
What are they, why are they overspent?
A lot of activity.
They're
Actually,
supposed to
some
give a
of the-
reason.
Some of that is, the town report, the book.
I thought we budgeted for that.
Well,
want
what
copies?
happened was, and I wrote this down because,
The selectmen want to take 500 from Worcester County Retirement
hold on,
and put it into their expense account, and I'm just asking why.
hold on.
You get the answer.
The answer
How much is their expense account?
Oh, yeah. Transfer.
There's
From
a lot
account
of
to
trainings
account.
that
That's
went
not
on.
an emergency.
Well, how do you know? We don't- It might be.
We have to know.
Yes, you do.
We need a representative from the,
Okay.
Board of
We mis,
Selectmen.
there was miscommunication with the school printing the books, they miscalculated, because last year there was problems. So we said, okay, we have less books. Last year was 500, we only print 2. The cost was higher. So we're like, wait, what happened there? We're printing less. But they miscalculated. So next year, when we go to do this, before we even go anywhere and do anything, we're gonna get a quote
first. you know.
first.
Yeah,
That'd be
So
good.
there was miscommunication, misunderstanding back.
but we got the
So
money.
maybe the
right?
school,
Total lack of communication.
yeah, the school, maybe the school is getting more money out of
Didn't we
it.
give them 1,800 for the
Well, trust me, it
stipends?
won't happen again.
Take it from there.
Yeah.
And, you know, there was some trainings and stuff.
Oh, Lord.
Although, don't quote me on that, I have to talk to Andrew about that one. So,
Man, I got a lot of paper today, we gotta chew on this paper.
Well, we could do this when Andrew's here at the next meeting.
Used for annual, yeah, before.
you wanna hold on that one or all of them?
All of them.
Well, what's the other?
Oh, sorry. EMS, let's see, requested amount, $5,731 from this account number, which it doesn't say what it is, to be transferred to the ambulance expenses.
Well,
Sure
we
that's
don't
not my
know.
account.
What's, the account number is 00102-231-520-200.
Do you know what the account is? And what was the last one?
When is our next meeting?
Before the town meeting.
Hold on.
We
Airline
come a
flight
half
to
hour early
Ireland.
Before the town meeting.
How about after that one?
Hmm?
Do we already,
Ambulance
is there like a
expense,
set
then
time
what's that?
that we meet?
After?
After the time?
No, we all take a vacation,
No,
go
we
to
don't- we don't
Tahiti.
take it easy
I don't
for a
know
little
what
bit.
We go to Tahiti for a week
Yeah. It's in our budget.
in our budget.
Nice.
Oh, this one's transferring from the finance committee clerk.
Yeah, we know they don't have a clerk. Oh, we do have a clerk.
Yeah, but do we have it in our budget as that?
I thought we did, yes.
To the finance committee expense? We gotta
Did he
ask.
take it all out? Did he take it all out? That's who's gonna.
I don't know.
I'm-
We
I'm-
That's
gotta
what I
find
mean.
out.
He
The next
actually
meeting.
combined me under one.
Right, that's what I thought.
Like they do with the Board of
Yeah,
Health.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know why he's
They
got
showed last.
the
somewhere.
clerk, because he combined it, so we don't have it. So is there money in there or not?
Well,
We'll
it's
see.
in there because I
It's just the
haven't,
way it's proportioned, if he's going us and them, then he's just proportioned.
That's for
Yeah,
next
that's
year.
what it
I
comes
know
out.
what
No,
I'm saying.
that was
is
this year.
Yeah, but
Okay.
something happened at zero, so 1,500 was for last year.
Yeah,
So what do they want to do, Sandy, on that last
they
one?
have 300
300.
from the clerk and put it to expenses, but what is he spending the money for?
Oh,
You know? We need to know.
yeah.
They don't want to tell us anything anymore.
So, what do you want me to tell Andrew?
We need
Next meeting.
explanations.
We'll transfer
We'll
the
do it
next
next Tuesday.
Because we don't know, we're not sure what's
Just so you
going
want
on
an explanation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they've got to fill them out
Any
better
kind
than
of
that.
communication would be great.
yet. Which is usually A1 between us and Andrew.
No, and us and Andrew's not a problem at all.
Yeah.
It doesn't say that on here. It just, okay.
Can I make a motion to adjourn?
Yes.
Yes.
Second,
Hold on.
aye, even if he doesn't say it, aye.
Does anybody want this? Does anybody want to hold on to it, to look through it or anything like that?
What is that, the
This is-
areas?
This is the business commercial, and it explains
I would love to see it.
why things don't.
I wish I had this a week ago, and I would ask Doug, what's going on here?
I have asked Doug, he cannot answer that question. I've asked Dennis, Dennis yelled at me Monday. He said that I was a liar, so I have since requested
Numbers
the minutes of the
don't
meeting
lie.
of May 7th.
Numbers don't lie.
Exactly, because I said, wait, the planning board told me that you identified 9 places it can go. Dennis said, that's not true, I never said that, I said potentially. He
Oh,
clarified that
okay.
he said potentially go, not actually could go. So what they're saying is the planning board did not plan where they could go. It was a thing. It was a thing, but then he emailed me, so like, he yelled at me in front of everybody, and then emailed me later apologizing.
Yeah, well, sometimes that happens.
I get it. I wanted to post his apology on
Sometimes
Facebook,
people
but I
tweet
didn't.
things that they don't, they don't really.
He
they're
wasn't
not true.
feeling
You
well.
understand?
I
Not
know.
that that's an
Yeah.
excuse.
Understood.
It was-
Understood.
it was some stuff.
I don't tweet.
No,
I don't tweet either,
but
I
some
do
people
Facebook though.
I don't want anything to do with that.
I don't either.
It's poison, isn't it?
I am bad enough keeping track of my emails to worry about any other stuff.
All right, we're adjourned.
Yes, we
Yeah.
are.
I just looked
Thank you,
today.
everybody. This was a lot of
Thank
fun.
you.
I've got 7,000.
I can't wait to actually get into
Spam
numbers and
emails.
stuff.